RPS TV. I'm Alex Montoya from Centennial High School, and I'll be getting your coverage on all you need to know about tonight's game. It is a beautiful night with the matchup being the Las Cruces Bulldogs, your home team, and the Artesia Bulldogs. Yes, that is a matchup between two Bulldogs. It is Las Cruces' homecoming game, so I'm excited to see what kind of spirit their fans and especially their students have. Their student section looks like it's having a kind of a blue out tonight, which is awesome. They're repping their school colors. It is a beautiful night, the perfect night for Friday night football. A little bit of a breeze. It's real nice and cool. I'm excited to see what's going to happen tonight, and I know you're excited, so stay tuned and let's get to the action.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please rise for the presentation of colors by the Las Cruces High School Army JROTC under the command of Command Sergeant Major Maria Medina and the playing of the national anthem by the Las Cruces High School Showcase Marching Band under the direction of Mr. Jordan Sayre. Thank you.
First Valley Realty has over 33 years in Las Cruces with 11 full-time agents and proven expertise in commercial, real estate, property management, investment properties, industrial locations, or land sales. First Valley is part of the global NAI network for reaching potential partners worldwide. Call 521-1535 to reach an agent or go to the #1 ST
Artesia in a non-district football game. Artesia is 5-0, and Las Cruces High is 3-2. Artesia, when they come out, they do a dog pile. And it looks like they spend some time on it as everybody looks to have a certain position. And the guys at the very bottom of it kind of get into the fetal position to protect themselves. I'm guaranteeing you the quarterback is not on the bottom of that.
Well, no, and you know, Artesia has always done things a little differently. I could tell you some stories about things that have happened in the Bulldog Bowl, some of which you've seen, but there are some strange things that happen over there, and they bring that Bulldog pile out. I believe you're correct, though. As soon as somebody gets hurt on the bottom of that pile up one time, maybe they'll rethink that one.
Brandon Baeza had another big game last week. He averages 8 catches for 131 yards a game, and he was playing on one good ankle last week. So I do believe that we'll see him at a little more full speed. That'll help back in that secondary, huh?
Well, it should help everywhere. Baeza is a surefire. I mean, he dominates both sides of the football when he's in there. And so if he's anywhere near full strength, that is absolutely a big plus for the Dogs. And we hope he is.
Las Cruces High is going to kick to Artesia tonight to get this game underway. As teeing it up for Cruces is Brian Sines, a 5'9", 180-pound senior who handles the kickoffs. Las Cruces is decked out in their blue jerseys, blue pants, white numerals, white helmets. Artesia in the road whites, white pants, orange numerals, and orange helmets for Artesia High. A little bit of a breeze, not unusual in Las Cruces. The wind's blowing out of the south to the north, so it's at Las Cruces High's back. And we're ready to get this game underway. We just wait for the official's whistle. And we're still awaiting for the official's whistle, but everybody else looks like they're ready to go, except for maybe one of the members of the crew. And now we're ready to go. So Brian Sines with his hand in the air. And apparently the official in the back that's blown the whistle, they couldn't hear it. So he's blown it again, and now we're ready to go. Strange start to the game. Brian Sines approaches it, boots it away, squibs it off one of the front men, and there's a pile at the Artesia 48. Cruces had a good shot at it. We'll see if they come out of there with it. They do. So Las Cruces takes over at the Artesia 48. Was that by design?
It was by design, only in the sense that Artesia runs a very strange kickoff return. It's called the starburst return, where the receivers, several of them deep, crisscross and hand the ball off to a player in the middle of the field, and it's very hard to determine where the ball is. So Cruces was trying to put the ball on the ground to prevent that kind of return, and came up with the ball across midfield.
Hit one of the line of Artesia as they were retreating and bounced back towards Cruces. Cameron Miller on 1st and 10 fires. It's juggled and incomplete, intended for Delgadillo. And it's 2nd and 10 for Las Cruces at the Artesia 48. So a squib kick that caromed off of one of the linemen peeling back for Artesia in their kick return. Carom's funny, and Cruces lands on it, and they start off with great field position. An incompletion makes it 2nd and 10 for Las Cruces at the Artesia 48-yard line. 4 wide receivers for Cruces. And a good snap to Miller, keeps it on the ground, hands off, and coming left is Sines, and he can only pick up a yard to the 47. Tried the left end off tackle, and Artesia defensed it well, and that's where Artesia is supposed to be better than usual this year.
Well, and right away, Jeff, I mean, I see new things out of Artesia. I have never seen, in 35 years, I have never seen Artesia in a 5-man front. And that's exactly where they are now. 3 down linemen, 2 outside linebackers, 2 inside linebackers, 4 secondary backs. And reputedly, again, defensively, they're supposed to be very, very good.
So 3rd and 9.5 for Cruces at the 47.5-yard line of Artesia. 3 wideouts and a flag flies as Baeza took off too soon. So after the Bulldogs got a big break on the kickoff, nothing doing, an incompletion And then a stop at the line of scrimmage, and then a false start moves them back on their own end of the 50.
So an inauspicious start for the Dogs, an incompletion, a no-gain run, and a penalty.
Bulldogs of Cruces looked a little flat to me when they came out. I don't know if you could tell anything by that, but they had a city rivalry game they lost last week. Sometimes those are hard to get over. 3rd and 15. Back to pass is Miller. Fires it downfield, and it's knocked away at the Las Cruces 41-yard line, intended for Baeza. Knocking it away with a nice defensive play is Carrasco. You have hammered away on how defensive backs play the ball in the air. That was well done.
Well, it really was. And what's interesting about Artesia, and we've had this friendly discussion a number of times, supposedly that 5-2 defense is not very pursuant to these wide open offensive attacks, but they are if the outside linebackers have essentially been trained as secondary backs, and that's what we've seen from Artesia the first few plays.
4th and 15 for Las Cruces at their own 47-yard line. Signs is the punter with the wind at his back, lets it fly, and it's caught with a fair catch back at the 11-yard line. So Artesia will start off backed up, but after the opening kickoff went awry, Artesia's defense came out and stuffed them.
Well, and Artesia very basically sound sitting in there. They do have the 3-down lineman. The one defender, the outside defender, is on the line of scrimmage with the tight end. But the other, I would call it the open side defensive end, and the open side outside linebacker is essentially playing as a 5th secondary back. Their angles are very, very good, and in one series, I'm tremendously impressed with the Artesia defense.
Taylor Knoll is the quarterback, so Hotling is in fact out. 4 wide receivers for Artesia. Send a slot in motion and hand it off straight ahead, and Cruces there to defend it well. Gain of a couple out to the 13 as they handed the football off on a give straight away, and it was Cayman Elston on the carry.
And Joseph Hernandez down in there, big at all, and I'm really kind of surprised, not so much with the play selection. Artesia running the ball in the middle on 1st down, kind of taking a look at what the defensive scheme is like. But Taylor Knoll did not throw that ball very well at all.
He's throwing into the wind, and it is a pretty stiff breeze right now. It usually dies down as the evening goes along. Early first quarter, 0-0 the score on the Mesilla Valley Barbecue scoreboard. Twin receivers to each side. Now he moves the wide receiver in a slot to the right side in to protect. Knoll's going to throw, and the pass overthrown and incomplete. It was intended for Ethan Duff, who is their go-to guy. And a 3-and-out for Artesia, and Knoll's passes came out funny, didn't they?
They really did. It just didn't look very good. Of interest already, Jeff, Ivan Molina, a 5'8", 140-pound freshman, is playing in the secondary for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Jim Miller said, hey, the defensive back factory is broken.
Well,
we got to go with what we got. He said Molina's been playing all right for him, especially considering he's a freshman. Here's the boot, spinning backwards to Baeza. He backpedals to the 49, to the 50, into Artesia territory, coming left to the numbers to the 45. And he's dropped there. About a 6-yard return, and Cruces gets it back right about where they started their first possession. They're at the Artesia 45, so they're 3 yards further downfield than they were last time. 9:57 to play in the first quarter. It's my 30th season doing this, and I always enjoy the Artesia Cruces games, but I'm a little disappointed Hotling's hurt. I wanted to see him.
Me too. He's a tremendous player, and so far, Tyler Knoll doesn't look to be anywhere near his replacement.
1st and 10 for Las Cruces, the ball at the Artesia 45. 2 tight ends with 3 wide receivers and an empty backfield, and Cameron Miller takes the snap, heads toward to the line of scrimmage, heads right, and Artesia Bulldog loses his helmet. And Cameron Miller gets to the 36-yard line for a gain of 9.
And a nice tackle by the free safety Williams there, a sophomore in the secondary for Artesia. Cruces 2 tight ends, empty backfield. All Cameron Miller, see if you can't get a little seam for him. Picked up a nice gain on 1st down there.
9:30 to play in the first quarter. 0-0 the score. Baeza comes wide to the left. Alex Hernandez is back. He's in a slot to the left. He was injured last week. And Terrazas flanked wide to the right, and Miller is going to keep. Bounces it outside to the left, dancing towards the sideline. Flag flies as he gets to the 30, drop there. It would be a first down and a gain of 6, but there's a marker down at the 31-yard line of Artesia, which is 5 yards downfield. Holding against Las Cruces.
Brandon Baeza blocking on the outside there for Cameron Miller in a downfield situation. Got a little bit too much of that white jersey in his hands, and the officials threw the flag on him.
9:12 to play in the first. Las Cruces nothing, Artesia nothing on the Mesilla Valley Barbecue scoreboard. Mesilla Valley Barbecue at 1340 East Loman, Southern Barbecue. You don't need to slather it in sauce. They have it if you want it. They serve Angus Choice Brisket, the only place you can get that in Las Cruces or El Paso. Second down and 6 for the Dogs of Cruces High at the Artesia 41. 3 wide receivers and 2 tight ends. Back to pass is Miller, firing underneath, and it's dropped by Fritz, one of the tight ends. They don't throw to him very often. They usually go to the other tight end, Delgadillo. And Fritz couldn't hold on, and Cameron Miller, who's been completing 64% of his passes this year, is 0 for 3 tonight. Now it's 3rd and 6 for Cruces at the Artesia 41. 3 minutes gone in the first quarter, nothing the score.
And Cameron delivered a pretty nice ball, and Fritz just dropped it on a crossing pattern.
Yeah, it's not always the quarterback's fault.
Not always.
Baeza widest to the right in a 3 wide receiver set. That's the wide side of the field to the right. Miller looks to the sideline. Timeout, Las Cruces. We'll take a break. Nothing the score. You're listening to Bulldog Football on AM 570, The Ticket.
Western Heritage Bank is a proud sponsor
They're
of the
flat,
Las Cruces
and they don't have their quarterback.
Yeah.
Western
This
Heritage
is going to
Bank
be
strives to provide the service and expertise that can only be found in a strong local partner, providing modern bank conveniences.
Artesia's well taught defensively. They're not very tricky,
Western Heritage
you can
Bank,
tell they're well drilled.
Yeah, they
Alexander
are.
The
Boulevard,
tackling
right
form's
here
been
in
good. That ball
downtown Las
played in the
Cruces.
air was
Let
like
them help
angles
you
to the
reach your
ball,
new
and their
frontier
technique is
with
really
Western
good.
values.
You could tell they've
Western service
worked on
at
it.
Western
Yeah, they
Heritage
have.
Bank. Member FDIC.
That guy was
Equal housing
confident
lender.
when it was on its way.
Very much so. He knew what he was doing.
Your motorhome is your home on
It
the
wasn't
road.
that deer
Whether
in
you're going
headlights
cross
we've been
country
Wasn't
to
like,
visit your
oh,
loved
whoops.
ones or just checking another state off your must-see list. Get all of your maintenance done at one time at one place.
They are
Bogart
well
Service Center.
coached
They'll be happy to
usually.
change the oil, fix the
I
toilet,
just felt
and anything else
flatness
that you
from
need
them
to
when
get
they were
back on the
kind of
road.
walking
I thought
Any
so,
make,
too.
any model.
I
And
thought
why
so,
don't you
too.
bring the car in too? Bogart Service Center is your complete auto, RV, and boat repair shop in Las Cruces. Visit them today at 2210 South Valley Drive and get your home back on the road.
You're listening to high school football on Fox Sports AM 570, The Ticket, presented by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
3rd and 6. Cameron Miller is going to keep, tries the right side, finds a soft spot and picks up 4 of the 6 they needed. But it's going to be shy of a first down, and will Jim Miller, who doubles as the defensive coordinator, punt or go for it on 4th and 2 at the Artesia 37. I think with Hotling you punt. Without Hotling, you probably go for it. I see Hotling over on crutches on the Artesia sideline. He's walking with crutches, if you follow me. In other words,
Absolutely.
taking a little bit of weight off the leg. 4th and 2. Bulldogs come out in the eye. Power formation, pitch to the tailback ball, and he's hit at the line of scrimmage and knocked backwards. They didn't come close to getting any movement up there. So far, Artesia's won the battle of the line of scrimmage with Artesia's defense and Las Cruces' offense on the field. The Bulldogs of Cruces turn it over on downs.
Well, they really have that time. Absolutely no room at all on a Cruces signature play, that eye toss to the tailback. Artesia, I'm impressed defensively. They're not fancy, but they are very fundamentally sound.
Well, that's way better than fancy in my book.
Usually.
1st and 10 for Artesia at the Artesia 37-yard line. Null will hand off, trying to the left side. Nothing there. Is the first one there for the Bulldogs of Cruces is Jeremy Chavez. On the carry was Elston for his 2nd toe of the game. And he has 2 carries for 2 yards at 2nd down and 10.
And neither team can seemingly find a crease up in there on the running game. Null doesn't look very good throwing it. This is going to be an interesting night.
Elston comes wide to the right, empty backfield with 3 wide receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Las Cruces with 4 on the defensive line. Back to pass is Knoll, looking left side, steps up, flings it long, and the pass overthrown at the 30. Pretty good coverage by Alex Hernandez on the receiver running down the far sideline, which was Darius Ramirez. And both quarterbacks are 0 for 3 passing the football here in the game tonight on the Sun Valley Hardware Stat Update. Nothing the score, 3rd and 10 for Artesia.
And Alex Hernandez doing a nice job getting his hips turned and running stride for stride with the Artesia receiver. Looks like they've done little ball drills this week.
3rd and 10 for Artesia at the Artesia 37-yard line. 4 wide receivers for Artesia. Knoll drops to pass, little 3-step drop, fires far sideline, caught at the first down marker. Receiver gives ground and gave up the first down. And they drop him for a gain of 9. When he caught it, it would have been close, but then he gave some ground and then got tackled. And Daniel Leon makes the catch. But I don't know if he'd had a first down where he initially caught it, but he definitely doesn't have the first down where he ended up. 4th and 1.
No, and it's so common to see that out of Artesia, that wide open set, 2 wide receivers either direction, oftentimes an empty set with 5 wide receivers. We're running those little single individual patterns. The quarterbacks from Artesia are well drilled in terms of where they want to throw the ball.
Artesia takes a timeout as they were missing somebody they wanted on the field. They were trying to get Elston on there. We'll take a 30-second break. You're listening to Las Cruces Bulldog football on AM 570, The Ticket.
We're hitting the streets to see what real people think of McDonald's new Buttermilk Crispy Chicken. Oh, and we forgot to tell them it's from McDonald's.
It's super crispy, but it's also really juicy. You really taste the buttermilk.
Ready for the big surprise? It's from McDonald's.
Wait, seriously?
It's McDonald's? Wow. Try McDonald's new Buttermilk Crispy Chicken sandwiches, salads, and McWraps. Made with 100% chicken breast filet, real buttermilk, and no artificial colors. It's the juicy, crispy chicken everyone's loving at McDonald's.
At participating McDonald's. You're listening to high school football on Fox Sports AM 570, The Ticket, presented by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
4th and a yard to go, and Artesia is going to go for it from their own 46-yard line. The quarterback is Knoll. Send a slot in motion. Left side of the line fires off early, and that's going to cost Artesia 5 yards and make it 4th and 6 as Artesia picks up their first penalty, and now they'll punt. Spend a timeout there.
Spend a timeout and then come out, jump off the line of scrimmage, get a 5-yard illegal procedure penalty. And Artesia was looking to run probably that fly sweep we've seen so many times, though they were under center with the quarterback.
4th down, 6 to go. Good snap back, punted away. End over end kick. Baeza charges and makes a sliding catch at the 28. Pretty risky move, but he hauled it in like most things he does. He did it well. Pretty risky move, though.
It is a risky thing, but, you know, it doesn't make your heart beat much when Brandon Baeza is going to go try to do it because he always seems to come up with a football.
Have we had a first down yet? I don't think we have.
I don't think we have.
So it's 1st and 10 for Las Cruces. The ball's at the Las Cruces 29-yard line. Terrazas comes wide to the left. Baeza wide to the left. Now Terrazas switches over to go wide to the right. Alex Hernandez slot left. So 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. And Signs switches sides in the backfield a couple of times. He ends up left side of Cameron Miller. Miller takes the snap, zips it off to Hernandez low and incomplete. He's 0 for 4, and that one came out of there terribly.
Well, and the Artesia defensive backs are laying so far off the Cruces receivers. Not to be a know-it-all, Jeff, and I'm going to throw that little bubble screen thing there and get some open space, and Cameron just threw the ball in the dirt, but it's the right call, and it may have been an audible. But both teams look out of sync offensively.
I think Cruces is flat after the Centennial loss, and I think Artesia's missing its quarterback, and that's why they look a little off. 2nd and 10, back to pass is Cameron Miller, gets pressure, is going to scramble, sandwiched at the 30 to the 31, picks up 2. 3rd and 8, no sack because he picked up yardage.
We're seeing a lot of empty backfield out of the Dogs. 2 tight ends, 3 wide receivers that time, all on the wide side of the field. No room in the secondary whatsoever. Cameron takes off for a couple, but we've got a big 3rd and 8.
6:20 to play in the first quarter. Las Cruces nothing, Artesia nothing on the Mesilla Valley Barbecue scoreboard. Tareen comes wide to the left. He's the freshman. Slot left is Hernandez. Wide to the right is Baeza. Two tight ends for the Bulldogs. Miller fields a knee-high snap, drops to pass, has time, steps up, zips it over the middle, caught by Tareen, spins across midfield and dropped at the Artesia 48-yard line. It's a first down and a gain of 21 on the first completion of the game for either team.
I think that was Ivan Molina, Jeff, the freshman that's been out there for the Dogs.
I called him Tareen for some reason.
Well, it's okay. But
Molina, I beg your pardon.
Yeah. Got a little crease in the Artesia zone that time.
I knew what I meant.
So did I.
First and 10 for Las Cruces at the Artesia 48-yard line. And here comes Baeza in motion. Hand him the football. Gets around the initial Bulldog in the backfield that tried to create havoc. Turns the corner across the 45 down to the 42 for a gain of 6 on the sweep out of the slot. And it's second down and 4, so a good first down play maybe for the first time for Cruces tonight.
If you can get the ball to the corner a little bit, then there is some room. The Artesia defense is playing a coverage we call quarters, which means it's a 4-deep zone, and the secondary really is bailing out of there. The Dogs get a little bit of room outside there and pick up 6 yards.
Second and 4 for Las Cruces at the Artesia 42. Baeza goes in motion. Fake a handoff to him. Miller keeps straight ahead to the second level, to the third level. Breaks a couple of tackles and is dropped at the Artesia 25. It's a gain of 16.
Get a little misdirection going on there. Fake the fly sweep, and Cameron Miller coming up the middle. Had the Artesia defense spread with 5 wide receivers, and Cameron's got himself a first down.
So back-to-back first downs for Las Cruces. Has them at the Artesia 25-yard line with 4 minutes and 50 seconds to play in the first quarter. Las Cruces nothing and Artesia nothing. Sean De La Cruz wide to the right for Las Cruces. Twin receivers flanked to the left by Baeza and Ellis. Ellis coming back from a couple weeks off due to injury. And Miller hands off to Signs. Signs is hit at the line of scrimmage, bounces off that tackle, and picks up a yard or 2. Nice defensive play made by Enriquez of Artesia. Second down and 9.
Mark Lopez trying to do what his mentor Jim Miller taught him to do, which is cycle formations until he finds a weak spot. That time again, wide receivers all over everywhere. One single back in the backfield, a little zone play up the middle. Only got a yard.
Second down and 9 for Las Cruces at the Artesia 24-yard line in a scoreless battle. Flankers to each side with 2 tight ends. Cameron Miller going up top. Hits Terrazas, who has popped, and the ball comes out of there. And the pass is incomplete. Popping him was Harris, the defensive back, the junior. Jarred it free. Terrazas is 125 pounds. So he's not a big guy, and he absorbed a very big hit there, and it knocked the ball free.
Now the ball looks bigger than him. The Cruces can get that play, though, anytime they want, because the Artesia secondary is laying so far off the receivers.
Terrazas comes out of the game and falls to his knees on the sideline. Think he might have had the wind knocked out of him. Third and 9, Cameron Miller on a quarterback draw. Finds a little seam, cuts back. He's got room now. He's to the 15, to the 10, picks up a block from Ellis. He's in.
Out of the lethargy that they seem to be in coming into this ball game.
3:43 to play in the opening quarter, and Las Cruces takes the lead on an 8-play, 71-yard touchdown march. The last 24 of them by Cameron Miller on a TD run, and the PAT attempt by Martinez is on the way, and the kick is good. So it's Las Cruces 7 and Artesia nothing. 3:43 to play in the first quarter. You're listening to Bulldog Football on AM 570, The Ticket.
Beasley Mitchell & Company, certified public accountants, have a mission to ensure your financial success and provide exceptional quality client services. They are also experts in tax preparation as well as other services like payroll, accounting, debt and financing, also business consulting. They offer strategic planning in retirement and
Artesia Bulldog at the 32, or did they throw a flag? Did they throw a flag? I don't know if an Artesia youngster touched it or not. Yeah, there is a flag down, so maybe Artesia did not touch it. It's only going to cost them 3 yards, as they can get it at the 35 since it went out of bounds, or they could make them re-kick. But seeing they've lost one of those squib kicks and had trouble getting on that one, if I'm Artesia, maybe you just take it at the 35 and cut your losses.
It's what they look to do, but Cruces is again squibbing that kick because they don't want it in the hands of the deep return men who can confuse you with that starburst return where the return people cross and fake a handoff and that kind of thing. Very effective kickoff return strategy, and the Dogs don't want them to be able to do that starburst return.
So it's 1st and 10 for Artesia at the Artesia 35-yard line with 3:43 to play in the opening quarter. Las Cruces 7, Artesia nothing on the Mesilla Valley Barbecue scoreboard. And the sophomore Null out of the shotgun is hotling out due to injury tonight. Handoff coming right is Elston. Elston's in trouble, and he's dropped for a 2-yard loss as the Bulldogs got penetration. And that wasn't Elston, that was Ethan Duff on the carry. So Duff with his first carry. -2 for him. So they've got 2 yards rushing in 3 carries. Noel in on the stop for the Las Cruces Bulldogs. El Dorado leads Cleveland 14-0 in Cleveland. 5.5 to play in the opening quarter there. 2nd down and 11 to go. Good snap. Noel fields it, fires underneath, caught at the 40, taken down immediately. The Bulldog defender makes the stop as the pass is complete to Ramirez. Making the tackle was Villegas for Las Cruces. It's a gain of about 6.
And Artesia will complete some passes. However, you don't want the receivers just running free. In that particular instance, Jesus Villegas is right there on top of the play to hold that to a 5-yard gain. You don't want the Artesia receivers running free so that they get a large yards after the catch.
3rd and 5 for Artesia at the Artesia 40-yard line. 4 wide receivers, Noel back to pass, drops it off underneath. It's caught by Duff at the 40. Duff with the first down at the 45, spun down at the 48-yard line. Making the tackle was Alex Hernandez, and it's a gain of 8 and a first down.
And Duff's the player we were told about. In that particular instance, he lined up as a slot back to the left, came all the way underneath the offensive line, had a little bit of a screen pass delay to the right-hand side. And with the Cruces defenders playing zone and laying off, had a little room underneath to pick up that first down.
Leon goes wide to the left, and a slot to the left side for Artesia is Whiteman. Trips to the left, good snap to Null, head and shoulder fake, fires over the middle, caught on a post route. Duff has it, Hernandez takes him down at the Cruces 29-yard line. That is a gain of 22 yards and a first down.
And in that particular instance, the Artesia Bulldogs with 3 wide receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Got a little seam route up the middle, past Villegas and in front of Hernandez for a first down.
1:54 to play in the opening quarter. Jeff Matthews with Mark Hartshorn at the Field of Dreams. 2 receivers, make it 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right, so a 5 with receiver set. Knoll looking to fire to the left side up the numbers, and the pass incomplete at the 5-yard line. And it was intended for Whiteman and overthrown. That ends a streak of 4 straight completions for Taylor Knoll, the sophomore getting the start with the absence of Hotling, who is over on crutches over on the Artesia sideline.
And same set for Artesia, 3 wide to the left, 2 to the right. Las Cruces playing 10 men on the line of scrimmage, playing press coverage on every Artesia receiver. Taylor Knoll took his shot downfield. Nicely defended by Alex Hernandez.
Knoll ready, has Whiteman in the backfield with him, swings a pass out to him, and it was pretty well defended in the fact that there was a guy in between the receiver and the quarterback on a little swing pass into the flat, and it's incomplete. I just have a feeling that if you're a senior rather than a sophomore, maybe you float that with a little touch on it and drop it over the defender. But he couldn't do that. He dropped it a little too far out in front of the receiver, incomplete. 3rd and 10.
Yeah, clearly there's a difference, a considerable difference between Taylor Knoll and the Hodling fella.
3rd and 10, the ball at the Las Cruces 30-yard line. 3 to the left, 2 to the right, the receiver department. Empty backfield with Knoll barking out signals to the left. Going on a long count, and he calls for a timeout. We'll take 1-2, 7-0 Cruces. Late first quarter, you're listening to Bulldog Football on AM 570, The Ticket.
You know how to tell if a man is serious about the work he does with his hands.
Right tools and encouragement to keep you on track. Anytime Fitness. Get to a healthier place. Try us free for 7 days. For more information, go to AnytimeFitness.com.
Anytime Fitness, 115 Roadrunner Parkway, Suite 4, Las Cruces. Call 575-521-1001.
You're listening to high school football on Fox Sports AM 570, The Ticket, presented by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
3rd and 10, Artesia going to the air, throwing deep. Nice adjustment by the receiver, but the pass off his fingertips and incomplete in the end zone. And it's 4th and 10. Elston with a nice adjustment with the ball in the air. Almost hauled that in for points for Artesia. Instead, it's 4th and 10.
And Brandon Baeza got away with one there, tried to undercut that route, which is kind of a Z corner route, in then back out. Ball sailed a little bit on him. He's very lucky because that was just about a touchdown for Artesia.
1:30 to play in the first quarter. Las Cruces 7, Artesia nothing here at the Field of Dreams. Balanced wide receiver set with 2 to each side on 4th and 10 at the Las Cruces 30. Artesia's going for it. Knoll out of the gun, fields a knee-high snap, drops to pass, looks over the middle, and it's incomplete at the 21-yard line. Alex Hernandez on coverage of the intended receiver Darius Ramirez, and Las Cruces High is held as Knoll's now thrown 4 straight incomplete passes in the drive ends.
Jim Miller, as the defensive coordinator for Cruces, mixing his fronts and his coverages. The last several plays, most of it's man coverage and press coverage with some blitz going on. Dogs are sure glad to have that ball back.
So Cruces High has it at their own 30-yard line. 2 tight end set with a receiver to each side. Cameron Miller hands off in between the tackles. Across the 30 to the 34-yard line. Up the left hash goes Brian Sines. His 3rd carry of the game, his best yardage of the ball game, as he picks up 5. And it's 2nd and 5 for Las Cruces at the Las Cruces 35-yard line. Late first quarter, 7-0 Cruces.
And I've seen another new thing in my lifetime, Jeff, and that is a defensive end, a 9 technique, actually defending the Las Cruces signature GT play with proper alignment and technique.
2nd down and 5 to go for Las Cruces at their own 35-yard line. Miller swings a pass backwards to Baeza in the flat. He has it, picks up a block, picks up another block across the 40, across the 45, to the 47-yard line for 12. But there's a flag down. Flag down at the 40. Holding against Las Cruces. It's coming back. Third penalty against Las Cruces for 25 yards. I think that was probably a running play because he threw it out in the flat to Baeza, who, by the way, is coming out limping now. So he's coming out limping. Terrazas is over on the training table with an ice bag on his back.
Yes, it technically would be a running play because it's the long handoff swing pass that in this instance was thrown backwards from the line of scrimmage. So you'd really had to chart that out as a running play, Jeff. But I think Sam Ellis downfield was holding an Artesia defensive back, and ergo the penalty.
From Albuquerque, a score update. Monzano 7, Mayfield nothing. Second down and 10 for Cruces at the Cruces 30-yard line. Two tight ends. Fake handoff. Miller coming left with Delgadillo out in front of him. He kicks out the defender across the 35 out to the 40-yard line. And that should be a first down after a gain of 10. Good block by Delgadillo.
Absolutely. The GT play that time with the fake of the running back to the right, the pulling lineman back to the left. Quarterback puts the ball in the belly of the single remaining back, then keeps the ball behind the GT action to the left side.
12 seconds to play in the opening quarter at 7-0. Las Cruces High leads it. First and 10 for the Bulldogs of Cruces at their own 40. Four-man defensive line. Miller to the air, fires low, incomplete, trapped up at the 47-yard line. It was intended for Ivan Molina, and the first quarter has come to an end. At the end of one, it's Las Cruces 7, Artesia nothing. On the Mesilla Valley Barbecue scoreboard, you're listening to Bulldog Football on AM 570, The Ticket.
Someday, we'll close the bank of mom and dad. Every parent looks forward to that day, and Wells Fargo can help. We give your child financial guidance and tools tailored just for them. From the college combo designed to help them be financially successful, to learning tools like the hands-on banking program, an online center for help with budgeting, and more. Why wait for someday? Stop by Wells Fargo or visit wellsfargo.com/student today. Wells Fargo, the next stage. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
McDonald's presents things said at breakfast by no one ever.
This is 47-yard line.
And I think it's the wide receivers again for the Bulldogs. They're getting caught in their downfield blocks, holding on Artesia defensive backs. But the GT play again with the fake from left to right. Cameron keeping the ball behind the linemen that pull from right to left. Very difficult play to defend, particularly as the Artesia defensive end closes down. They log him, and Cameron bounces it outside.
Flag is 6 or 7 yards downfield from the line of scrimmage. So instead of having it down at the Artesia 10, it's going to be second and long now. Double sticks, as they say.
That's a 10-yard penalty.
Penalty moves Cruces back to their own 36. First down yardage is the Artesia 49-yard line. So the Bulldogs with their fourth penalty for 35 yards here in the first half. The Bulldogs of Cruces, that is. Molina comes wide to the right for Las Cruces. Baeza slot right. Ellis flanked to the left. Cameron Miller will toss it to Baeza on a reverse. And he heads around left end. Not much there, but he does get it upfield a little bit and picks up 6 or 7. Not the home run. Maybe it was supposed to be up on the blackboard, but they'll take a gain of 7 and makes it 3rd and 7.
Yeah, they'll take it. Artesia typically is not going to over-pursue and create a back alley on the far side for that kind of play. But a nice gain for Baeza sets up 3rd and 8.
11:13 to play in the half. Las Cruces 7, Artesia nothing at the Field of Dreams on the Mesilla Valley Barbecue scoreboard. Hernandez comes wide to the right. Baeza in a slot to the right side. Two receivers to the left side. Ellis among them. Molina's over there, and back to pass is Miller. Has time, steps up, fires over the middle. What a catch by Baeza, reaching back and making the grab with the defender flying at him to pop him. And it's a first down for Cruces at the Artesia 35-yard line as they go deep down. And 12 or 13 and end up converting a first down. Alex Hernandez goes in motion. Miller fakes a handoff to him, coming right. Now cuts back. He's to the 30, to the 25, and taken down at the Artesia 23. It's a gain of 12. So they've got him going now. 7 carries, 77 yards, and a TD for Cameron so far, and 11 yards a carry.
And clearly the Dogs trying to get Cameron Miller with a little space in that secondary. He is a 6A athlete, and the Artesia defensive backs are 5A athletes. He'll do some damage down the field if he can get a little bit of room.
10-14 to play until halftime. Las Cruces by 7. Cameron Miller with a back in the backfield, hands him the football, bounces it right as Signs out to the numbers, turns it up to the 20, to the 19. That's a gain of 4. Make it 4 carries, 11 yards for Signs. Miller has 7 carries, Signs has 4, Baeza has 2 on the ground for Las Cruces so far tonight. And it's second down and about 5.
Most of that yardage picked up behind number 70, Joseph Hernandez, that big offensive lineman, a 5'10", 250-pound junior.
Second down, 5 to go for Las Cruces at the Artesia 19-yard line. Empty backfield. Miller takes the snap, heads straight at right guard, finds a seam, spun around and dropped at the 10. But it's a gain of 9, and it's first and goal. He hits that line pretty hard, trusting something will open up, and it did right behind the right guard for Las Cruces High.
And that's the disadvantage Las Cruces will put you in by playing 2 tight ends. It makes you balance the front of your defense, and Cameron's just looking to find a spot.
JoJo Hernandez over there on that side for Las Cruces High. So it's first and goal at the Artesia 10-yard line. Miller this time, hands off. Peyton Ball takes it, spins away from the first tackler, but the second one grabs him, and they keep him to a 2-yard gain. And it's second and goal at the 8 or the 9-yard line, depending on where they plop it. They're going to drop it at the 9. It's on the right hash going in to the wind here, which is blowing from the south to the north. The Bulldogs of Cruces headed towards the southern end zone right now. So second and goal at the 8.5. Going wide to the left is Baeza. Hernandez flanked to the right in a slot. Ball's in the backfield with Miller. They send Hernandez in the backfield. Miller wants to throw, looking backside, throws. It's incomplete. And that way, if it's a mistake, it goes out of the end zone.
Well, Diego Diaz is a big receiver, and we've seen him come up with plays like that before.
I like Artesia's defense, though.
They are very, very good. They're very fundamentally sound. They're not trying to trick anybody. You will know where they're going to be, but then you have to walk up to the line of scrimmage and physically beat them as well.
Third and goal. The ball is at the Artesia 9-yard line. 3 wide receivers. Ellis wide to the right and a single wide receiver set with Baeza and Hernandez wide to the left. Miller's going to keep. Miller using a good block on the end to cut it left, and he's upended and goes down at the 1. The ball popped out after he hit the ground. It's fourth and goal at the 1, and Cameron Miller slow in getting up.
And what a play by Carrasco, the Artesia defense back.
Good block out of Jesus Villegas in the backfield. Got a good block out of Julian Molina as a fullback. And ball goes in untouched from 1 yard away on fourth and goal. And with 7:30 to play in the half, Las Cruces leads at 13-0.
And Villegas and Molina made that one look easy for Peyton Ball, who was untouched into the end zone.
Martinez to try the PAT after a 70-yard drive for a touchdown. Bulldogs overcame a holding penalty on the way. The PAT is blocked, so it's no good. 7:30 to play in the half, and on the Mesilla Valley Barbecue scoreboard, Las Cruces 13, Artesia nothing. You're listening to Bulldog Football on AM 570, The Ticket.
Someday we'll close the bank of mom and dad. Every parent looks forward to that day, and Wells Fargo can...
Day up in Albuquerque leads Rio Grande 21-0. Here it's 13-0. Las Cruces High leads midpoint of the second quarter, a little more than the midpoint. Here's another squibber coming up the right hash from the Bulldog perspective, grabbed by one of the upmen who falls down on it at the 35. They're going to give him forward progress up a little further than that. So Nyate's up playing Rio Grande, who's winless, and they're just not very good. Mark Hartshorn had an experience in his young coaching years of coaching Goddard when they weren't very good. He's nicknamed them the Geese, the Goddard Geese, and you know, when you're that weak, they're lining up to schedule you.
Oh, well, yeah, other teams were coming to play their homecoming at Roswell. You know, they were playing their homecoming game on the road against us.
1st and 10 for Artesia. The ball at the Artesia 36-yard line. 4 wide receivers, good snap to Knoll. One stays in to block on the receiver front, fires it out to Leon, juggles it and can't hold on as Ellis popped it free. And the pass is incomplete. 5 incompletions in a row for Knoll. You told me you guys set a Guinness World Record for homecoming game appearances that year.
We did. You know, every time, of course, the homecoming halftimes were 20 minutes long, and the officials would walk over to tell us before the game, we got the long half. We just said, we know, we already know. Okay, it's that way every week. We already know.
How many homecoming games did you play that year?
11.
Your own and 10 others, huh?
Yeah.
Back to passes Knoll on 2nd and 10. Sidesteps a rusher. Now he's flush left. No receivers that way, so he'll tuck it and run up the sideline, and he finds some room. He steps out at the 45-yard line, a yard shy of the first down. He gained 9. Well,
nice.
Major storyline tonight is the absence of Justin Hotling, who threw for 350 yards last week against Carlsbad, but was injured late in the game. And I'm sure if Cooper Henderson had it back, he'd have got him out of there now that he knows how that turned out, because they were up pretty big. But he's going to miss at least 2 weeks, they think. 3rd down and a yard to go. The ball is at the Artesia 45-yard line. Duff, slot left. And a 4 wide receiver set. He's staying in to block. Bulldogs bring some heat. Pass is incomplete at midfield. The freshman Molina was on coverage for Cruces, covering Clay Donahue, the senior wide receiver, and it's 4th down and a yard to go for Artesia. That's 6 passes in a row that Nola's missed on, and it looks like they're going to go for it.
Well, apparently Jim Miller has decided that his defensive backs can cover man for man the Artesia receivers, because both of the last 2 series, man coverage and a lot of heat, a lot of inside blitzes from the dog front. The Bulldog front. I can't even say the Bulldog front, the Cruces front.
Yeah. Well, we slip up, but we're aware that the Bulldogs are playing the Bulldogs tonight. 4th and a yard to go and a handoff and a first down for Artesia up to the 47-yard line. They pick up a couple when they needed 1. So they got it pretty convincingly. It was not a huge gain. They gave it to Leon. Daniel Leon's a senior, 5'7", 150. It's not exactly like he's a big bruiser, but he had a nice hole as the blocking up front was good for Artesia on 4th and 1. So they get a new set of downs with 7 minutes to play in the half, down 13. First and 10 for Artesia at the Artesia 47-yard line. 4 wide receivers for Artesia. Null trying to settle in here after 6 straight incompletions, but it looks like Artesia is going to be penalized 5 yards for illegal procedure here with 6:49 to play in the half. We know Justin Hotling's terrific, so that's a major drop-off to begin with. We had heard good things about Null, but so far tonight, he's 4 for 13 for 45 yards, and he's missed on 6 straight attempts.
And he's missed some very badly.
So it's first and 15 for Artesia at the Artesia 42-yard line out of their run and shoot. Artesia went to this back when it wasn't so much in vogue. Back to pass is Null, fires underneath, it's caught for a short gain back to the original line of scrimmage. Tackle made by Peyton Ball on the receiver Darius Ramirez at the 47-yard line, so they got back the 5 yards that they lost on the penalty, and it's second and 10.
Cooper Henderson, the Artesia coach, implemented this total polar opposite change from traditional, at that time, Artesia football, because he knew, he could see that he wasn't going to have the kind of power running game, big linemen, big backs that Artesia had typically had. So he implemented this wide open offense about 15 years ago, maybe more.
Second down and 10 for Artesia at the Artesia 47-yard line. Good snap to Null, fakes a handoff, hits Leone on a little wide receiver comeback out in the flat, and he's got some room across the 50 and down to the 42 of Las Cruces. It's a gain of 11. So he's thrown for 61 yards now, and back-to-back first downs for Artesia as they trail by 13 halfway through the second quarter on the Mesilla Valley Barbecue scoreboard, 13-0 Cruces.
Well, and Artesia came out, could have been an audible on that play with a little slip screen to the left because Cruces Bulldogs had loaded up a blitz to the wide side.
So it's first and 10 for the Artesia Bulldogs at the Cruces 42-yard line. Handoff, big collision at the line of scrimmage. Peyton Ball in there. I think Noel shot in there as well as the handoff went to Elston, and Elston just can't get untracked. The fact is he lost a yard. Elston 3 carries for 1 yard tonight. On the Sun Valley Hardware stat update, it's second and 11 at the Bulldog 43. 5:38 to play until halftime.
Having Corey Noel back on the front for the Cruces defense does make a big difference.
He came back last week against Centennial and played his first game of the year and really gave Cruces High a lift. Good snap to Null. Null steps up, fires long over the middle, double coverage, and overthrows his receiver. Bulldogs had that receiver bracketed in double coverage, and it's incomplete. Third down and 11. He very well might have thrown that one away because he wasn't open.
No,
and it's third and 11.
Las Cruces that time chose to play, as you said, a bracket-type coverage where they have a man underneath each wide receiver and safeties playing zone over the top. There's no room to throw the ball in there.
So it's third down and 11. The ball is at the Las Cruces 43-yard line. And ducking underneath center is Null. Swing pass right side, caught in the flat, 45, blocker 40, cuts back 35 and gets near the first down stick. I think he has it. As making the catch out in the right flat was Aguilar.
And again, I believe another audible by Artesia when they see that kind of defensive alignment with the inside secondary back playing a long way off of the second wide receiver. Then it's just that little flip, that long handoff play. It's not even really a screen play. There's nobody in front of it. Results in a first down.
5:03 to play in the half. 13-0. Las Cruces leads it, but Artesia on its best march of the night. First and 10 at the Las Cruces 31. Null underneath center, same play, other side. Duff has it. He's in the open field, 25-20 to the sideline to the 15, and shoved out of bounds by Alex Hernandez at the 15. So it's a gain of 16 the other way. So they've picked up 11 and 16 on back-to-back plays on essentially the same play, one to each side.
And in that instance, Cruces had changed the coverage. They're playing man coverage, but when you're laying off the receiver 7 or 8 yards, he's going to have some room to run after he catches the ball. Results in another Artesia first down.
4:50 to play in the half. 13-0. Las Cruces enjoying the lead. Artesia marching it, Knoll back to pass, setting up a screen. Nice catch at the 15. Nowhere to go, though. He's dropped at the 13-yard line. Ellison on the stop with 2 other Bulldogs on a pass complete to Whiteman. They really let the Bulldogs through, and it looked for a second like it might be set up pretty well, but they ran it to the short side, and Cruces got people over there in a hurry. Gain of 2.
They did. It was very obvious that Cruces was in a man-to-man coverage, and who's going to take the single back out of the backfield? In that instance, the wide defensive end did help out on the play, Sam Ellis as well.
Elston's wide to the right. Also wide to the right is Donahue. Leon wide to the left. And they swing a pass to Leon. Leon catches it at the 9 and taken down by Hernandez immediately. It's a gain of 4 on the little pass. Just a little toss on the 20th pass of the game for Knoll. And he's now hit on 6 out of 7 passes. So he's gotten hot again, but they've quit going down the field so much as well. Little bubble passes and screens, short passes. 3rd and 5 for Artesia in 4-down territory.
And in that instance, Dominic Fritz, the outside linebacker, was standing right there. I'm not even sure how the ball got into the Artesia running back's hands.
3rd and 5 at the Artesia 10-yard line. Out of the shotgun, Knoll fields a good snap, looks left, now fires right. It's complete. Duff has it at the 10, at the 5, hit at the 3, stretching towards the goal line. He's in. Touchdown, Artesia. So a 10-yard pass to Duff. They kind of sent the play motion left and then threw back to the right, and Duff got it in there for him, and it's a 13-6 game right now. Cruces has the lead.
Duff came across the formation from left to right. It's kind of an interesting little underneath screen play against a man-to-man covered defense.
So a PAT here, important because of the blocked PAT earlier, but Cruces gets their paws on this one and blocks it. No pun intended.
I'm not even going to answer that.
So the PAT is blocked, and on the scoreboard, it's Las Cruces 13, Artesia 6 with 3:56 to play in the first half on the Mesilla Valley Barbecue scoreboard. You're listening to Bulldog Football on AM 570, The Ticket.
Western Heritage Bank is a proud sponsor.
Barbecue scoreboard. Monday is Wings Night, 50-cent chili lime wings at Mesilla Valley Barbecue. Tuesday night is Taco Tuesday, 75-cent tacos with the purchase of a drink. Thursdays, NMSU and Doña Ana Community College students, faculty, and staff get 20% off with an ID. And tomorrow night, Saturday night, smoked prime rib at Mesilla Valley Barbecue. The kick goes into the end zone, and it's a touchback, and Cruces has the ball at their own 20 with 3:56 to play in the half. Stay tuned after the game for the post-game show brought to you by Las Cruces Public Schools. Our halftime report, the Burger Time Golf Tournament halftime report coming your way here in a little bit. There's 3:56 to play in the half. Cruces is up 7. We'll get scores from the other games at the half. On 1st and 10, Cameron Miller drops the pass. Cameron looking right, fires deep, and the pass is incomplete. Well played in the air again. They go for Hernandez, and out on that side was Williams, the defensive back. Miller is 2 for 9 for 43 yards tonight through the air. He's usually pretty accurate at 64% so far this year, but tonight 2 for 9. And it's 2nd and 10 for Cruces at the Bulldog 20-yard line. The Cruces Bulldog 20-yard line. Ellis flanked wide to the right. Baeza flanked wide to the left. Miller with a back in the backfield with him. Fakes a handoff to Sines. Keeps going left. Gets a block. Gets to the edge. Up the sideline. Runs out of room as he goes out of bounds at the Las Cruces 29-yard line. It's a gain of 9 for Cameron. He's got 103 yards on 10 carries and a touchdown on the ground, and it's 3rd and a yard.
And Cameron's getting that counter play bounced outside. The backside linemen know that the Artesia defenders will close down and not allow that play to be an off-tackle play, but Cameron is taking it outside the defensive end and getting nice yardage.
Ellis comes out of the game on 3rd down and a yard to go at the 29. They need the 30 for a first down. Miller will keep it himself, tries the left side, first down. He's into the second level, up the sideline, 40, 45, 50, 45, 40, cuts back to the right, 30, 25, it's a foot race. He's at the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. 71 yards on the TD run for Cameron Miller. Sweeping to the left sideline, scores at the numbers on the right side.
And again, the counter play. Fake to the one back going right. Backside tight end, the guard pulling to the left. Artesia defenders close it down. They get logged instead of kicked out by the pulling lineman. Cameron bounces the ball outside, and once he's in the Artesia secondary, it's just not fair.
Somebody must be blocking, though, because you know Artesia figures Miller is going to keep it most of the time, but you still got to respect that misdirection.
Well, you do, and then again, they're doing everything right to make the play bounce, but when it bounces and Cameron has just a little bit of room outside, it's a mismatch with his athletic ability and the athletes back there in the Artesia secondary. Once he gets a little space on the outside, they're not going to catch him.
Good run, too. He's going down the left sideline. 2 guys have the angle on him, and they were taking good pursuit angles, but he changed the game, cutting back hard to the right and cutting all the way across the field. Flags are down on the PAT.
Cameron ran about 100 yards to get 71 that time as he went down the left sideline, then came all the way back across the field. A lot of the matchups are pretty even in this ball game, Jeff, but Cameron Miller in the secondary of the Artesia Bulldogs is not even at all.
That's half the distance to the goal line.
19-6, Las Cruces leads Artesia.
The extra point from there.
Cruces has won 6 of the last 9 meetings between the 2 teams. Eric Martinez's kick is away, and it is good. 20-6, Las Cruces. 3:28 to play in the half. On the Mesilla Valley Barbecue scoreboard, you're listening to Bulldog Football on AM 570, The Ticket.
Western Heritage Bank is a proud sponsor of the Las Cruces.
Back then, didn't you guys kind of play for 3 months and that was it? Now it's an 11 months or 10 months
home on the road. Whether you're going cross country to visit your loved ones or just checking another state off your must-see list, get all of your main.
Yeah, that's true.
Welcome back. Little squib kick. Artesia ready for it. And it's grabbed at the 23, going right to the 25. At the 26-yard line is Darius Ramirez as he's slung down. And it's 1st and 10 for Artesia there, is making the stop for Las Cruces. Zane Alley made the stop.
Artesia takes over.
3:22 to play in the half, so Artesia cut it to a 7-point game, but Cruces comes right back. 3 plays, 80 yards. Miller, 71-yard TD run on 3rd down and a yard to go. 1st and 10 for Artesia at the Artesia 26-yard line. Null fields the snap, flags fly,
Flag on the play.
and that'll stop the play. Clock stop with 3:21 to play until halftime. Legal procedure against Artesia, their 4th penalty.
Jeff, is it okay if I play illegal ID?
It's a 5-yard penalty.
So let's pause for a station ID after this play. It's 20-6 Las Cruces, 3:21 to play in the half. The new line of scrimmage is the 21-yard line of Artesia. 4 wide receivers for the Artesia Bulldogs. Out of the shotgun, as always, is Noel. Bulldogs rush 4 after him. Noel has time, heaves it long, near side. Man breaks open, but it's overthrown. Trying to hit Leon down at the Las Cruces 35-yard line. Let's pause for station identification. You're listening to Bulldog Football on AM 570, The Ticket.
Now it's time for sport.
A 71-yard drive by Las Cruces gave him a 7-0 lead. Miller with a 24-yard TD run, his first of 2 TD runs tonight. Pass underneath, crossing route incomplete. And it's 3rd down and 10 for Artesia. Second quarter has seen the Bulldogs score 2 TDs and Artesia score 1. We've had 3 consecutive possessions that have ended in touchdowns. But now Artesia's up against it, faced with 3rd and 15 at the Artesia 21-yard line. 2 TD runs for Miller and a TD run for Ball. For Las Cruces, Artesia's Taylor Knoll hit Ethan Duff on a 10-yard TD pass in the second quarter for the Artesia touchdown. And we've got a timeout on the field. 3:12 to play in the half. It's Las Cruces 20, Artesia 6. You're listening to Bulldog Football on AM 570, The Ticket.
You know how to tell if a man is serious about the work he does with his hands? Look at his feet. If he's standing around in some discount booth, he
There's your film
probably spends
session
his days
down on the
just
sideline.
standing around. But if he stands in a pair of Red Wing boots, that means he stands for something. He cares about the work he does.
A lot better. They can't beat Centennial.
He works with his brains as much
They're
as
not
his
big
brain.
enough for one thing.
Red Wing work boots.
I think that'll change.
142 Wyatt Drive, Las Cruces. Call 575-524-2486.
When was your anytime?
What you like with their top technique?
Oh, yeah, I really do.
You can tell they're the best team we've seen with ball in the air. Huh?
Yes, no question.
But opened another.
Whenever you're ready, our door is always open at Anytime Fitness, and you'll always find the right tools and encouragement to keep you on track. Anytime Fitness. Get to a healthier place. Try us free for 7 days. For more information, go to anytimefitness.com.
Anytime Fitness, 115 Roadrunner Parkway, Suite 4, Las Cruces. Call 575-521-1001.
You're listening to high school football on Fox Sports AM 570, The Ticket, presented by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Well, we missed it, but a TD pass to Duff by Artesia on a little swing pass to the sideline, and Duff just outran everybody down the sideline. So they answer with a 79-yard TD pass to Duff, his second TD catch of the ball game.
Cruces played a 2-deep zone, and I just don't get it. If you're going to play a 2-deep zone, that kind of play should never happen. Once he got away from Jesus Villegas, an outside linebacker over there on the sideline, there was no other Cruces defender around.
So it was 3rd and 15. We were still in commercial, but Noel hits Duff, who outruns the defense for a 79-yard TD catch. And that's tightened it up here, and the Bulldogs of Cruces by Asa blocks the PAT again. So the PAT no good. 3 minutes to play in the half. And on the Mesilla Valley Barbecue scoreboard, it's 20-12. Las Cruces leads it by 8. You're listening to Bulldog Football on AM 570, The Ticket.
You're listening to high school football on Fox Sports AM 570, The Ticket, presented by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
So a big play for Artesia. 79-yard TD pass on 3rd and 15. Just a little dump off.
Yeah, wasn't much to it.
Yeah.
once he got away from the underneath guys in the zone, got one downfield block that was all right, but just no Cruces defender could catch him down the right sideline.
3 minutes to play in the half. It's 20-12. Las Cruces with the lead. So 4 possessions in a row now with TDs, and 5 out of the last 6 have had touchdowns. That's more like it. That's kind of what we're used to seeing in 2015 high school football. I remember when a final score of a high-scoring game might be 20-13.
And the kick is out of bounds.
Yeah, oftentimes, and of course, so many schools have gone to these wide-open offenses with 4 and 5 wide receivers, and they work at it real hard. All the passing clinics, all the camps, all the 7-on-7 kind of stuff has surely developed passing games that we didn't really used to see, or at least not very often. The teams that were in formations like this and trying to throw the ball this much were teams who knew they were physically outmatched, and so they're trying to even up the game by throwing the ball in space.
Kickoff sails out of bounds, so Cruces starts at the 35 with 3 minutes to play in the half, up 8. Cameron Miller, who's had a big night running the ball, hands off and the ball comes free, and it's fallen on at the line of scrimmage. It looked like the running back for Cruces signs fell on it. It's a loss of a yard, but they don't turn it over. It's 2nd down and 11 at the Cruces 34-yard line. That's what they get for trying a handoff, huh?
No, hey, let Cameron Miller carry the ball. Of course, he was over here on the sideline. Jeff, you noticed that he probably had some kind of cramp going on, and that really bothered him last week.
Yeah, once he got the cramps last week, he wasn't the same guy. 11 carries, 174 yards, and 2 TDs for Miller tonight so far. Maybe that's why they handed it off. Here he'll keep, and he skirts to the left, and they knock him down at the line of scrimmage. No gain. 3rd and long for Las Cruces. 2:10 to play in the half. So allowing Artesia to get the big play on a little dump-off pass on 3rd and 15 has totally changed the complexion of this game. Knoll's gaining confidence. They've got their playmaker Duff going now. In their last 3 pass attempts, he has 2 touchdowns. And it's just an 8-point game, and Artesia gaining confidence here now. Plus Cameron Miller showing signs over on the sideline after that long TD run of having cramps. So 3rd down and 12 for Cruces at their own 33-yard line. Good snap to Miller, going up top, fires into the slot. The pass one hopped into an Artesia defensive back's arms. Incomplete. Miller's 2 for 10 for 43 yards tonight. And a 3 and out for Cruces. And they're going to be punting it to Artesia, who's going to get it right back with 1:35 to play until halftime and no timeouts.
Not really what you want to have happen, a 3 and out, even though Artesia will get the ball back with about 1 minute and 20 seconds to go. They've shown the ability to strike quickly.
Elston's on the eastern hash. Leone is on the western hash for the Artesia Bulldogs. 4th and 12, Signs is a line drive kick. Hits at the 33, bounces inside the 30, rolls out of bounds at the 26. So that's where Artesia will start with 1:29 to play until halftime. And it's 20-12, Las Cruces by 8 on the Mesilla Valley scoreboard, the Mesilla Valley barbecue scoreboard. Mayfield's up 10-7 at the half. We'll have all the scores for you on the It's Burger Time Golf Tournament halftime report coming your way in 1:29 of football action right here on AM 570. The Ticket. We welcome our viewers on LCPS TV wherever you're watching tonight. 1st and 10 for Artesia at the Artesia 26-yard line. Go into the air. And again, a completion that's short. He's off to the races across the 35, across the 40, up to the 43-yard line. Pass was complete to Hernandez, and Artesia's got it going again.
And the slip screen there on the outside. A little play action fake inside. Ball's completed behind the line of scrimmage so the lineman can go downfield. 1st down for the Artesia Bulldogs.
All of a sudden, Knoll has 196 yards passing, and they found something in their short passing game. 1st and 10 for Artesia at the Artesia 43. Back to the air. Little bubble screen caught in the flat. 40, 45. Duff. 50, 45. They get him down this time at the Las Cruces 49-yard line. Making the stop was Villegas, but they found something. Till Cruces stops this, they're going to get a pretty steady diet of this.
Well, and it makes no sense to me for Cruces to be in a man-covered defense and lay 7-8 yards off the receivers.
1st and 10 for Artesia at the Cruces 44. He wants to go downfield and overthrows his receiver at the 22-yard line. had a linebacker in coverage. It was Villegas trying to cover the intended receiver who won't turn around for me. There he does. That was Aguilar. And that ends a streak of 3 completions in a row for Knoll, and it's 2nd and 10 at the Cruces 44 with 1:02 to play until halftime. Cruces by 8.
Cruces got lucky on that one too, because Villegas was beaten by that inside receiver, really a tight end type. And Molina, the freshman free safety, was nowhere to be found.
Run and shoot set for Artesia. Cruces gets up in press coverage on the outside, and a marker flies as the slot man Duff took off a half a count early. He was going to go out and try to block the cornerback on the left side, so I think we were going to see that slip screen to the wide receiver in the left slot, but Duff was a little eager to throw the block, and it's a 5-yard penalty. Artesia's been penalized 5 times, all of the minor variety, for 21 yards tonight. And the ball plopped down at the Las Cruces 49 on the left hash. Artesia's going right to left from our vantage point. That's from the south to the north end of the Field of Dreams. Press coverage again on 2nd and 15. Low snap, Knoll handles it, steps up, fires, complete. Duff has it, taken down at the first down stick. At the 34-yard line, ball made the stop. It's a gain of 15, close to a first down. I don't have enough room on my stat sheet for all these passes. I'm going to have to reinvent my stat sheet again. Happens every decade. 1st and 10 for Artesia, the ball at the Cruces 34-yard line. The official blew the ready for play, and then Artesia jumped. And that'll cost Artesia 5. Seemed like the whistle for some reason bothered him. 39 seconds to play in the half. This puts Artesia at the Las Cruces 39-yard line. Cruces by 8. So it's turned into a ball game. It looked like Cruces had a nice 2 TD bulge there and had them backed up 3rd and 15, but a big Artesia play has made it a 1 TD game, and then they got off the field in a 3-and-out. Blitz is on. He's throwing deep and drops it in there. Incomplete at the 10. Off the fingertips of the receiver who had one-on-one coverage on him down at the 10-yard line.
Broken up by number 5,
Peyton Ball was on defense. They were going for Duff, who has the 2 TD grabs tonight. And he couldn't hold on.
No, it's the correct throw by Taylor Knoll, a quarterback from Artesia. Cruces up in press coverage in the face of the receiver and blitzing everybody else. Knoll made the right read and almost got one in there for another Bulldog of Artesia score.
Knoll's next pass will be his 30th of the game. 2nd down and 15 at the Cruces 39-yard line. 5 wide receivers for Artesia. Knoll looking over the middle, dumps it off the fingertips. Juggling catch made by Aguilar, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 32. It's a gain of 7. What a grab.
Well, it was nicely done by Aguilar coming across the field underneath. Couldn't get one deep last time, so run everybody off. Same kind of coverage, man for man. Get the slot receiver from the far side to the left. And pick up a few yards here, make it still 3rd and 8.
Stop the clock with 19 seconds to play until halftime as he got out of bounds. 3rd down and 8 for Artesia at the Cruces 32-yard line. Cruces in press coverage on the outside, and they're trying to go up top, and the pass at the line of scrimmage stripped away and incomplete. Fact is, it was a couple yards behind the line of scrimmage, and it's 4th down. Baeza on coverage. Aguilar, the receiver they were trying to hit. 4th and 8. 16 seconds to play in the half. Cruces 20, Artesia 12 on the Mesilla Valley Barbecue scoreboard.
And with the situation being what it is, look for a fade route this time, probably down the left sideline. Got nothing to lose, 16 seconds to go. Throw it up there, see if your receiver can make it happen.
So 4th and 8, Artesia has it at the Las Cruces 32-yard line. Empty backfield, 5 wide receivers, blitzes on. He fires long to Duff, and it's incomplete. Duff running a fade. Ball got leverage on him and wouldn't let him turn up and make an adjustment. So that was pretty good defensive back work there by the defensive back. Ball and a poor throw by Knoll. The pass is incomplete.
It really wasn't very well thrown. Ellis had pretty decent coverage on the Artesia receiver. Did have his hips in the right location, turned and ran with him. So there really wasn't much of a place to throw the ball anyway.
So the Cruces defense gets off the field with 12 seconds to play in the half. Bulldogs will just take a knee and go to the locker room with the lead.
Miller takes a knee.
So we're at the half. It's Las Cruces 20, Artesia 12 on the Mesilla Valley Barbecue scoreboard. Our halftime report, the 2015 Sandra B. McGrath Burger Time Golf Tournament halftime report. The golf tournament raised $306,000 for LCPS activities this year. Legacy sponsors Sisbaro, Prices, Las Cruces Sun News, American Linen, Farmers Insurance Group, Memorial Medical Center, Coca-Cola, U.S. Bank. The Burger Time Golf Tournament halftime report begins after this from the Field of Dreams. It's Las Cruces 20.
The scoring update, the Oñate Rio Grande game. A minute left before half. Oñate leads 42-0.
Careers to cosmetology or HVAC, you have big dreams and they can give you the tools to achieve them. Campus is close to home.
Built more spirit throughout the week just preparing for this game compared to last week's game?
Oh, absolutely. I think that we've definitely come together a lot, even just in this last week, as a school, as a student body. There's a lot of people out here supporting the football team, and it's really great to see.
What can we expect from the students in the student section for upcoming games, say Mayfield Cruces?
We're definitely going to put together a lot of really cool stuff. We're really excited about it this year, as I already said. But we're really emphasizing good sportsmanship, good, just spirit overall. So we'll definitely be out here and hopefully with some new tricks up our sleeves.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Marcus. I know the band is getting ready to play, so let's go check it out.
Jennifer Flores, color guard instructor Emily Beeson, and visual technician Holly Gilbert. The showcase halftime performance is sponsored by Ashley's Furniture, Collegi's Frozen Custard, Pickwick Convenience Stores, CVS Pharmacy, Cracker Barrel, Starbucks, and Papa John. Today, the showcase marching band will take you on a journey through time with music by John Fannin. Today's show, titled Wait, featured soloist Salima Graham on trumpet. Drum majors Jacob Speller and Naomi Ramirez. Is the showcase band ready? Las Cruces High School, you may take the field for halftime entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, this time we'd like to direct your attention to the 50-yard line for the presentation of the 2015 Las Cruces High School Homecoming Court. Freshman Princess Mari Gomez, escorted by Victoria Gomez. Freshman Prince Nico Garcia, escorted by Maria Yanez and Maria Garcia. Sophomore Princess Quinlan Pope, escorted by James and Norma Noel. Sophomore Prince Angel Rojas, escorted by Carla Palumbo. Junior Princess Savannah Lozoya, escorted by Hector and Emma Lozoya. Junior Prince Daniel Flores, escorted by Ana Flores and Margaret Flores. Senior Princess Annie Stout, escorted by Kathy Stout and Bobby Stout. Senior Prince Antonio Mijares, escorted by Rebecca Mijares. And please welcome your senior queen, Brooklyn Burnett, escorted by Sunny Burnett. Brooklyn is involved in Las Cruces High School HOSA and vice president of FCCLA. She works at Arroyo Vet Clinic and hopes to become a veterinarian in the future. Your senior queen, Brooklyn Burnett. And now presenting the senior king, Cohen Rush, escorted by Candace Dougherty. Cohen is involved in the student government, HOBY, National Honor Society, Key Club, and the list goes on. Cohen hopes to pursue a career in public service. Las Cruces High School Senior King 2015, Cohen Rush. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2015 Las Cruces High School Homecoming Court.
Artesia 20-12. The excitement is real. They just showed our homecoming court, which is really exciting. I know Las Cruces is ready. I'm ready, so let's get started.
Welcome back to the field at this time, the visitors from Artesia, the Artesia High School Bulldogs. Las Cruces Public Schools Athletics would like to extend its sincere thanks to Las Cruces Orthopedic Associates for their continued support of our athletic program. Doctors Michael McGuire, Dan Ramanelli, Paul Sides, and David Barrera are the primary providers for orthopedic health care and event coverage for the athletes of Centennial, Las Cruces, Oñate, and Mayfield. Thank you for putting our student athletes first. Bulldogs fans, don't forget there's still time to get those 50-50 tickets. The winner will be announced at the beginning of the fourth quarter. And please check your game program if you have Jim Miller's signature on his coach's page. You just won a gift certificate for a free pie from Village Inn on El Paseo. If you are the winner, please report to the Football Booster Club merchandise table located in the Northwest Concession area. Las Cruces High School won the opening coin toss but deferred, so they will receive the kickoff to begin the second half.
Miller in the secondary of the Artesia Bulldogs is an absolute mismatch. So if he can get on the corner again, get a little seam, we'll see some more coastal runs by Cameron Miller.
Right now it's Las Cruces 20, Artesia 12. Take a look at some of the other first half stats. Null threw the ball 33 times. 231 yards passing and 2 TDs to Ethan Duff. They only ran the ball for 10 yards, did Artesia. They didn't try very often. 241 yards for Artesia, 243 yards for Cruces. Cameron Miller has thrown the ball 10 times. He's 2 for 10 for 43 yards passing. He has 174 yards and 2 TDs on the ground. Artesia will be kicking to Las Cruces here in the second half. So it'll be Las Cruces football on the first series of the second half, assuming they handle it. Artesia didn't handle the opening kickoff. And here's the boot, and it is a long onside kick, and it takes an Artesia bounce, but it bounces out of bounds.
The kickoff is
if that would have stuck, there's a chance Artesia comes up with that.
Well, yeah, but, you know, the percentage of recoveries on onside kicks is so low. Unless you're in a situation of desperation or unless it's a real surprise tactic, your chances of pulling it off really are pretty low, and the ball goes out of bounds, and, you know, all kinds of crazy things happen, and usually not to the benefit of the kicking team.
Cameron Miller's been hitting on 64% of his passes. Tonight he's 20%. What's up there, you think?
Very good coverage by the Bulldog Artesia secondary. There just hasn't been any space to throw the ball in there.
1st and 10 for Las Cruces at the Las Cruces 40-yard line. Miller to the air, fires complete to the tight end Delgadillo, and he's upended on the Artesia sideline on the far side of the field at the Artesia 49-yard line. It's a gain of 12 yards.
Well, in that time, Cruces got Artesia off in a zone coverage in the backfield, and Delgadillo was supposed to be covered out in the flat by the defensive end from Artesia, who simply was trailing Delgadillo and could not make a play.
Early third quarter, Las Cruces by 8. And a tight end to each side. And 2 receiver set, handoff to Signs. Signs is taken down after a 2-yard gain in between the tackles, veering left and stopped at the 46, 2nd and 8.
And although Mark Lopez is calling the offensive plays for Las Cruces, it's so obvious that his mentor, Jim Miller, has taught him how to cycle formations and set up home run plays. That is the GT to the left with the single back carrying it, but you can be certain Cameron Miller will come back with that play in a little bit, keeping the ball off the play fake.
3 wide receivers to the right side for Las Cruces High. Still sticking with 2 tight ends, and Cameron Miller wants to go up top. Now he gets some rusher from the backside, and he dumps it off to Baeza, who has it. 40, dropped at the 39. Miller took a pop at the end of the play. It's a gain of 7, shy of a first down by a yard.
And we're seeing a lot more empty backfield sets from Las Cruces, but with 2 tight ends and then 3 wide receivers to the wide side of the field. Artesia has covered it pretty well so far. Most of that play was done by Baeza.
3rd down and a yard to go for Las Cruces. The ball's at the Artesia 39-yard line. Signs and Miller in the backfield. Here comes that GT with Miller keeping to the right, and he has an alley. And he's got a first down across the 35 down to the 33. It's a gain of 6.
Cameron Miller on the quarterback.
And Cameron thinks nothing other than his feet touched the ground. Either he sprang out of that pile and was headed for the goal line again, but there is exactly the play that Cameron Miller just torched the Artesia secondary in the first half, and we'll likely see more of it here in this second half.
Wind is blowing into the Las Cruces High offense's face right now, howling out of the south to the north. Hopefully it's bringing cool weather with it. It's October now, and we're still having summer weather around here. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs of Cruces at the Artesia 33. GT right, handoff to Signs. He's got room, and he's dropped at the 25. Making the stop for the Artesia Bulldogs was the defensive lineman Molina.
Brian Signs on the carry.
It's a gain of 7 or 8.
Jacob Enriquez on the tackle.
The bigger offensive linemen from Las Cruces are starting to wear out some of the smaller defenders from Artesia there a little bit. That GT play with the single back or with Cameron Miller is proving effective once again.
Baeza wide to the left, Sam Ellis wide to the right. Signs and Miller in the backfield. Here it comes again, handoff to Signs, GT right, and they got penetration and shot it in behind the blockers, and he brings down Signs at the 24-yard line. Making the stop
by Enriquez.
Was Enriquez, a linebacker. Played it pretty nicely, and it's shy of a first down by a yard, 3rd and 1.
Enriquez did read the pulling guard from left to right, filled in right behind him. A textbook play by Rodriguez to make that tackle for essentially no gain.
Enriquez.
3rd
down and a yard to go for Cruces at the Artesia 24-yard line. Miller keeping to the right. It's hemmed in, but he bounces outside 20 to the 15 to the 10 to the 5. He's in. Touchdown. His 3rd TD run of the night. This one's 24 yards, and Cruces leads it 26 to 12. He has 204 yards rushing and 3 TDs, and we're early in the 3rd quarter.
And I think he has all of those yards on that GT play where he bounces the ball outside. And once he's in the Artesia secondary, it's a huge, huge mismatch. They simply can't tackle Cameron Miller in the open field.
8:44 to play in the 3rd quarter, and Eric Martinez on to try the PAT. He's had a PAT blocked. Snap is good, and they got penetration again, but Martinez gets it through the uprights for the extra point. Las Cruces 27, Artesia 12 on the Mesilla Valley Barbecue scoreboard. You're listening to Bulldog Football on AM 570, The Ticket.
You know how to tell if a man is serious about the work he does with it. Red Wing boots, that means he stands for something. He cares about the work he does and the crew he works with. He works with his brains as much as his product. Red Wing work boots are purpose-built for the exact
Well, they finally fixed my air conditioner.
Red Wing shoes.
122 Wyatt Drive, Las
It took like
Cruces.
3
Call
weeks. My neighbors
575-524.
I was starting to think about getting a hotel.
Personal service.
If it would have gone on.
Located at 230 South Alameda Boulevard, right here in downtown Las Cruces. Let him help you Western Service, that's
They eat a
Western
bunch of
Heritage
bananas.
Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You're listening to high school football on Fox Sports AM 570. The Ticket, presented by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
That's not good.
8:44 to play in the third. Cruces squibs it. Comes to the near side numbers across the 40, grabbed at the 38. And he goes down at the 39. So Cruces is doing that, the squib kicks, because Artesia runs the starburst. And the starburst can give you some problems. What they do is they gather up after they catch the kick deep and run some play action out of it, where there's a dealer and you hand it to the dealer and he fakes a handoff or two and gives it to one of a little bit of a shell game. And Cruces just doesn't want to deal with it, so they're kicking it away from that, giving up pretty good field position. But they got a turnover out of it on the opening kick, as Artesia didn't cover it. But Cruces did nothing with it after they recovered it. Low snap, Null has trouble with it, picks it up off the ground, fires, and the pass broken up in midfield. It's incomplete. Baeza broke up the pass, but a little Tony Romo-ish there, picking up the ball, bouncing on the ground, and delivering a strike, but nicely played by Baeza out of the secondary for Las Cruces.
Well, Noah wanted to get rid of that thing as quickly as he could after dropping the opening snap. By the way, Jeff, that starburst return is illegal also, but you'll never see it called.
Because the handoff generally goes forward, right?
That is absolutely right.
But they don't ever, I've seen it called.
Have you?
Here's a snap to the up man out of the backfield, a direct snap to Whiteman, and he's tripped up at the 43. That can get you if you get a little quarterback conscious, but Cruces defensed it pretty well for a gain of 3. Yeah, Mayfield got called for it one time, so you know that opposing coach really worked on the officials well before the game, because they were well aware and went ahead and called it. But it's the only time I've really seen it called, and it was one time up in Albuquerque, I think. Mayfield used to run the starburst. Third down at a 7.5. Little play action, swing pass to Leon. He has it. They have it hemmed in. He bubbles back, gives some ground, heads right, turns upfield, and dropped at the 48. Gain of 6 when there was nothing there.
The Bulldog defenders played that as well as you possibly can. We're standing right there on that little slip screen. We still get 6 yards out of it, Artesia, but it is 4th down.
4th and 2.5 for Artesia at the 47.5 with 7:30 to play in the third quarter. Las Cruces 27, Artesia 12 on the Mesilla Valley Barbecue scoreboard, and Artesia is going to go for it. With the ball out near midfield, they need the midfield stripe for a first down. Cruces in press coverage on the outside, direct snap. Cruces high all over it, and he goes down shy of a first down at the 49-yard line. Peyton Ball got in there and grabbed him. That was Wiedemann again, and he didn't get there, although they gave him a pretty good spot, but he still shot. He got about 1.75 yards, and he needed all of 2 yards.
Right, and Peyton Ball knifed in from the outside. Again, as you mentioned, Cruces was in press coverage in the secondary, allowing all of the other front defenders to rush the quarterback, and really rushed right into that shotgun snap draw play to the single remaining back.
A lot of people think Artesia and Centennial are destined to face each other for a state championship in 5A. Of course, some teams will have something to say with that. St. Pius is undefeated. Not sure what they have, but they're undefeated up in Albuquerque in 5A. Cameron Miller with play action, wants to pass complete to Delgadillo, wide open, 40-35, bulls his way down the sideline and goes down at the 32-yard line. It's a gain of 17, and he gets up limping badly.
He is limping a little bit, but Artesia staying in that zone coverage. The outside receiver ran the corner off of the line of scrimmage pretty deep. Delgadillo just hesitated, went back in the short side flat of the field, and was easily found by Cameron for a first down.
I said he was limping badly. You said he was limping a little bit.
He wasn't limping that badly.
Guess it depends on whether it's your ankle or not.
That would be true.
1st and 10. Here's Miller on the GT coming right. Jukes defender at the 28 and dives to the 25 for 7. 2nd and 3 is Cruces Hyde getting it done on the ground tonight. Miller struggled passing in the first half, going 2 of 10. But he's 3 for 3 passing in the second half. Gains at 12, 7, and 17. And he has over 200 yards rushing already, and we're at the midway point of the third quarter with Cruces up by 15. And it's 2nd down, about 3 to go at the Artesia 25. GT going left. It's Signs with the football, and he's dragged down shy of a first down at the 23. Going to bring up 3rd and short, I think. Signs, 9 carries, 22 yards tonight. Just a little changeup. You don't want Miller carrying it every single time, although you look at his stats and you kind of go, why not, huh?
Well, they have it set up so well. The Artesia secondary is starting to really play heavy run support on that GT play. Any kind of GT play action pass probably be a wide open Bulldog.
3rd down, less than a yard to go at the Artesia 23-yard line. Empty backfield. Cameron Miller heads right at right tackle. Now shifts, goes behind the center and gets a first down. He's yanked down after he gets the first down at the 18-yard line. It's a gain of 5.
Very simple, just one-on-one blocking up front. Bulldogs in an empty backfield with 2 tight ends. Cameron takes a snap, heads for the middle, finds a crease, and gets a first down.
16 carries for Cameron Miller, 9 for Signs, 3 for Ball, and 2 for Baeza in the running game tonight. So just shy of 30 runs for Cruces High and 13 passes. 1st and 10 at the Artesia 18. Signs takes the handoff, bounces it left, goes airborne, and is dropped at the 11. Gain of 7. That's his best run of the night.
And the Cruces offensive linemen are just starting to wear out the front of the Artesia Bulldogs. Decided weight advantage, and they're really starting to take those white shirts back off the line of scrimmage.
Ellis comes out as Baeza checks into the game for Cruces with 4:44 to play in the 3rd quarter. Las Cruces 27, Artesia 12. Las Cruces is at Deming next week in a district game. 2nd down and 3 to go at the 11-yard line. Miller fakes the handoff, keeps left side, gets hit at the sticks, going to be close to a first down. Gain of about 3 on his 17th carry of the game. Well, Mayfield's in a tight one with Manzano. Ever since Isaac Vance got hurt, they haven't been the same, have they? And their defense this year has really struggled.
Their defense has some problems. With Isaac Vance, I believe Mayfield is a pretty darn good football team. Without him, I think they're a pretty average football team. And those 2 schools always play tight ball games, although the Trojans always come out on top of the Manzano Monarchs.
Mayfield's up 17-14 at the end of 3 up in Albuquerque against Manzano. 1st and goal for Cruces at the 8-yard line. Handoff to Baez on a sweep to the right side. He finds an alley, and he's taken down at the 3-yard line. Good open field tackle by Artesia's Enriquez, the linebacker. He's made a couple of nice plays. He saved a touchdown there. That's a gain of 5 for Baez on his 3rd carry of the game.
Yeah, Enriquez, number 54 there, senior linebacker for Artesia. He's quite a football player. Looked when Brandon Baeza took that little fly sweep action and came wide that there might be a seam to the end zone, but Enriquez filled that seam, and we're sitting here with 2nd down.
2nd and goal. The ball is at the Artesia 3-yard line. Out of the eye with Molina, the fullback, and Ball, the tailback. Villegas goes in motion, pitch to Ball. They get penetration. He cuts back against the grain. He's hit at the goal line, and he fights his way in. Touchdown. His 2nd of the night. That was a nifty run of 3 yards for the score, and Cruces leads it big now. It's 33-12.
It was nicely done by Peyton Ball, taking that pitch play out of the I formation, starting right, cutting back left, past the center, and into the end zone.
So the Bulldogs have gone 60 yards and 49 yards for TDs here in the 3rd quarter without Artesia being able to put any points on the board. They had a 4 and out sandwiched in there, and Cruces High pulling away in this one now. Up 33-12 with 3:18 to play in the 3rd quarter. It should be mentioned that Justin Hotling, one of the best quarterbacks in the state, not playing tonight. The extra point is good for Eric Martinez. 34-12, Las Cruces leads it on the Mesilla Valley Barbecue scoreboard with 3:18 to play in the 3rd quarter. You're listening to Bulldog Football on AM 570, The Ticket.
There is nothing like the feeling of family Friday night in high school football.
That's why computer.
comes up with it at the 33. They've been kind of quick starting us a couple times tonight. We missed the Artesia touchdown because of it. 34-12, Cruces leads it here. 3:14 to play in the third quarter. Artesia starts at the 33. So it's 1st and 10 for Artesia at the Artesia 33-yard line. 4 wide receivers for Artesia. Knoll, the sophomore, has thrown it 35 times already tonight. Snap is knee high, handles it, fires it over the middle, complete at the 43. First down as he's tackled at the 45-yard line. Hernandez with the catch for Artesia. Gain of 12.
Taylor Knoll might need some ice for his elbow, Jeff, when this thing is over. He must be pushing 40 pass attempts.
36 right
36.
Now. Next one will be 37. Just making that clear for you, what comes after 36.
Well, that's a good thing. I'm glad you know.
Head and shoulder fake as Knoll goes deep down the right sideline and misses, incomplete. Cruces High has a freshman in the secondary, Ivan Molina. Wears number 11 for Cruces, back as a safety, and he was providing coverage over the top. I think Baeza was underneath. Holding against Las Cruces is the penalty. So perhaps somebody grabbed a little shirt tail or something on the fade route.
Well, the corner that's playing up and is the first line of defense against that fade route on the play fake, the pump fake from Knoll, the Artesia quarterback, just had a little too much contact, grabbed the receiver on the way by.
It is a contact sport, but sometimes it's not.
Well, not in that instance. It's not supposed to be.
It's like when you're watching an NFL game and they're just creaming each other and then they call illegal contact on the defense, automatic first down. All right, it's 1st and 10 for Artesia at the Cruces 45-yard line. And Knoll again going up top, setting up a screen pass. It's complete. Breaking a tackle behind the line of scrimmage and loose. 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. They had a chance at Duff right at the line of scrimmage. He got away from him. And it's a 45-yard TD pass to Duff, his 3rd TD catch of the night. Knoll's 3rd TD pass of the night. And Artesia strikes back.
But at some point in time, I think the Bulldog defense had figured that one out. The right slot receiver ran an underneath route to the left. Knoll just sneaks down the line of scrimmage to the right, a little screen pass off the right-hand side, and once he gets past the line of scrimmage, there's no one back there for the Dogs. They're all out covering the other wide receivers.
PAT attempt from the left-footed kicker, and this time he gets it away, and the kick is good as they've had a couple blocked in the game. So with 2:36 to play in the third quarter, it's Las Cruces 34, Artesia 19 on the Mesilla Valley Barbecue scoreboard. Bulldog football continues after this on AM 570, The Ticket.
Western Heritage Bank is a proud sponsor of the Las Cruces Scholar Athlete of the Week. Western Heritage Bank strives to provide the service and expertise that can only be found in a strong local partner. Providing modern bank conveniences with old-fashioned personal service, Western Heritage Bank, located at 230 South Alameda Boulevard, right here in downtown Las
67
Cruces.
yards.
Let them help you reach your new frontier.
And he threw it
Western
1
values.
yard and
Western service. That's
gets
Western
a
Heritage
45-yard
Bank.
TD pass.
Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
So he's got 30s to see.
Let's face it, your motorhome is your home on the road. Whether you're going cross-country to visit your loved ones or just checking another state off your must-see list.
Artesia kicks it deep. Baeza has it at the 6, hemmed in on left sideline. Up the numbers to the 10, to the 20, to the 30, and knocked down at the 32. Kind of looked like he might break it for a second, but Cruces High will start up at their own 33-yard line. That last drive by Artesia, 2 plays, 67 yards. There was the defensive holding on the drive as well. And It took them less than a minute to score their third TD of the night. Cruces 34, Artesia 19 if you're just tuning in. It was 7-0 Cruces at the end of the first quarter. Cameron Miller, the offensive star for Cruces, with 219 yards rushing and 3 TDs. And Artesia getting a great game out of Ethan Duff, who has 3 TD catches for the Artesia Bulldogs. Handoff to Signs going left, blocker in front, gets the block, and he's dropped at the 40. It's a gain of 7. Enriquez on the stop again for Artesia. He's having a heck of a game.
Well, Enriquez is reading the pulling guard just exactly right. The guards typically, when they pull, will take you to wherever the ball is headed. He is making a play on that GT off coming from the offside linebacker position, but it's still 7 yards down the field. He's a football player, though, Jeff. That guy is impressive.
Well, we've seen Cruces High battle the injury bug this year, and now Artesia is battling it with their quarterback down. Miller in the backfield, weaving his way around traffic and finds a first down for the Cruces High Bulldogs after a gain of 3 going left. Same play. I mean, it's nothing fancy. It's GT, 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 some more GT, and then a little GT, and every now and then a zone block play. That about sum it up?
It about sums it up, but that's the way you win football games. Football games are not won by, trickery and running around and fancy and faking and all that kind of stuff. It's still won by you and me on the line of scrimmage.
Used to call teams that had huge offenses, John Madden disease, that they got to cycle all their plays in. And sometimes you forget to go with what's working. 1st and 10 for Cruces at the Cruces 44-yard line. Miller with a shovel pass into traffic. Molina catches it. Joint possession as an Artesia Bulldog has a hold of it as well. And Molina knocked down after a 5-yard gain at the 49-yard line. That's a pass play.
Yeah, and Artesia had a defender standing right on top of the shovel pass. It was lucky it didn't wind up in a white shirt. And again, that's the kind of thing you can do. You can trick yourself. Okay, you can run that GT enough to where you think, oh, I need to do something else, and maybe you don't need to do something else.
Exactly. That's what I call Madden disease.
Absolutely.
2nd down, 5 to go. The ball's at the Cruces 49-yard line. Fake handoff to ball coming right is Cameron Miller. Open field taken down, but he has a first down at the 44-yard line. Denver Williams made the stop. It's a gain of 7, though, for Miller. And he's up to 230 yards rushing on 19 carries tonight. Cruces 34, Artesia 19. 27 seconds to play in the third quarter.
And it's interesting to me to see Artesia defend that play properly. I've seen so many other schools not do it correctly. They defend it correctly, but Cameron Miller's still making big plays from it.
1st and 10 for Cruces at the Artesia 44-yard line. And Miller wants to throw on play action, dumps it off, and it's Molina, and he has it and slips down trying to make a cut at the 35, gain of 9. That's the end of the third quarter. At the end of 3 on the Mesilla Valley Barbecue scoreboard, Cruces 34, Artesia 19. You're listening to Bulldog Football on AM 570, The Ticket.
We're hitting the streets to see what real people think of
a really amazing experience getting to walk on the field and seeing everyone cheering us on. It was definitely worthwhile.
How has your school and yourselves been preparing for today and tomorrow and just the entire week as a whole?
We just tried to have as much fun as we possibly could. We definitely exuded a lot of school spirit, so I guess that's the key to success, I guess.
Yeah, each day we dressed up and tried to get everyone involved, and the more involved people got,
like you guys are about to win this game. How do you feel? Are you excited?
Yeah, go Bulldogs!
This is the best way to end homecoming week for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Let's go back to the field.
Brian Science or whoever else might be carrying the ball as a single back. I'm sure they're real tired of seeing Cameron Miller on that GT.
Or how about Molina coming at you to block? He's
that
a big guy, 5'11", 195-pound senior. He's lined up tight end left right now is Molina. Baeza wide to the left, Ellis wide to the right. Miller fields the snap, hands off the ball going right. Molina cleans house again, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Did Molina clean out a hole right off tackle there?
2 consecutive plays. That time, Cameron Miller left the ball with Sam Ball, the single back, rather than carrying it himself, but it's the same GT scheme. Everybody on the play side blocks down towards the center. The guard from the backside pulls and kicks out. The first thing he sees past the tight end on the play side, the backside tight end turns it up in there, and Bulldogs are on the scoreboard again. Very, very basic fundamental football. That play is out of the 1950s, Jeff, that scheme with the 2 tight ends, the backside guard and the backside tight end pulling to the other side of the formation.
And Molina just absolutely cleaned house. Ball went untouched for 22, or make it 22-yard run. He has 28 yards rushing, and the last 3 times ball has touched the football, he scored a TD. A 1-yard run, a 3-yard run, and a 22-yard run for Ball on the last 3 carries for Cruces High. The PAT is good. Cruces 41. Artesia 19 with 11:28 to play in the football game. You're listening to Las Cruces Bulldog football on AM 570, The Ticket.
McDonald's presents things.
Asset Management, Steinborn and Associates Real Estate, Sun Valley Do It Best Hardware, The Fix Salon, Palm Solopec Farm, and Village Inn.
Now it's time for sports. Southern New Mexico's sports leader is KWML Las Cruces.
Let's get the game on!
Fox Sports 570, The Ticket.
Squib kick taken, dropped at the 33, and then a flag flies at the end of it. Jim Miller protesting the call, calling a horse collar. Jim Miller not agreeing. He was right there by it. I'm a long ways away, and we were in commercials, so I didn't have the binoculars on. It's a big penalty, 15-yarder.
It is that, and they did call it. And I didn't have the binoculars on it either.
You don't even have binoculars.
No, but I wouldn't have called it either.
11:23 to play in the game. Artesia's going to get it at their own 48. Knowles hit his last 3 passes. 20 of 37, 294, and 3 TDs for Knoll. The sophomore starting in place of Justin Hotling is on the sideline sitting this one out. 1st and 10 at the 48, going to the air is Knoll. Fires complete downfield at the 41. It's a gain of 11. Sam Ellis made the stop.
Another Knowles pass is complete.
Making the catch was Donahue.
Daniel Leon.
I had Donahue. The PA announcer said Leon. I think it was Donahue. Gain of 11 either way, and now 300 yards passing for Knoll tonight. That's one of the rare completions downfield tonight, though, for Knoll. A lot of his completions have been screen passes and little flat passes and things 1, 2, 3 yards downfield. That time he threw it 11 yards downfield. And they go to the ground. Wiedemann has it between the tackles, right behind left guard, and spun down as he gets to the 38. Gain of 4. Las Cruces High is 3-2. They protested the opening night loss at Montwood.
Gain of 3, second down.
Everybody knows the story of that one, but Cruces High was battling Montwood down a touchdown in the third quarter, late third quarter, and driving, and lightning made them have a delay, and for whatever reason they called the game and then played another one on the same field an hour later or so. So Cruces High protested that. Back to pass is Knoll, fires over the middle, caught at the 20 and dropped at the 16-yard line by Molina. No, that's Hernandez on the tackle. That's Duff on the catch. He's had a big night. Anyway, my understanding on the appeal is that it was denied by the NMAA.
Well, of course. You know, they're not going to make a decision like that. They weren't at the game. It's 400 miles away, and they're not going to pay attention.
First and 10 for Artesia at the Las Cruces 18-yard line. 5 wideouts for Artesia, empty backfield. Knoll in the shotgun, back to pass, blitz coming, gets hit as he lets go of it and overthrows it, incomplete. Flag flies at the goal line. Good arm by the referee. He threw that about 17, 18 yards, the back judge did. But he did have the wind in his face there with that penalty marker.
Yeah, the wind has shifted 180 degrees from where it was to start the ball game. Hopefully that cold front we've been waiting for is coming through. But once again, anytime
Who do you think you are, Doppler Dave?
Well, I
Martin?
watch the flags, okay?
So there's a cold front coming, huh?
Well, that's what everybody's been saying. And supposedly a piece of it gets here tomorrow, and by Monday and Tuesday it's supposed to be chilly. If 80 degrees is chilly.
It's a lot chillier than 97.
That's a fact. If there's contact in the secondary, Jeff, somebody's going to throw a flag.
And he just did.
And they do it again and again and again.
First and goal for Artesia at the Cruces 9-yard line. Wiedemann at the ace-back spot. Swing pass left side to Duff. Puts on a move to the outside. And he scores, but a flag flies at the 5. Looks like this one's coming back due to a hold against Artesia on the key block at the 5-yard line. If it stands, it'd be Duff's 4th touchdown catch of the night, but it's coming back. That's the first major penalty against Artesia all night. All their penalties have been of the 5-yard garden variety tonight until this one.
One time down there on the goal line, I'd love to see a Cruces defender or one from anybody jump that swing pass route and go coastal 90-plus yards the other way. You don't have much territory to defend. Why would you not play up in the receiver's face?
First and goal for Artesia at the Las Cruces 15-yard line. Knoll drops to pass. Wiedemann stays in to block. Knoll steps up, fires complete down to the 6-yard line. Baeza brings down Hernandez, and Baeza stays down. He's a key component in Cruces High's team, to say the least. He never comes off the field.
Okay, water break. Here we go. Blue ticket.
Yes, we saw him injure that leg, that ankle, several weeks ago. He's come back. Last week he clearly was not at full speed, but made some great plays. He's made some great plays again tonight, but it looks like he turned that ankle on the turf maybe another time.
Trying to make the stop and making the stop. So Brandon Baeza is down. Once Jim Miller sends him out onto the field to play, he never sees him again till halftime. As Baeza plays in the secondary on defense, he's a wide receiver on offense and kind of Cameron Miller's go-to guy. Not kind of. He is Cameron Miller's go-to guy. And he also is a punt returner and a kick returner. So if Jim Miller wants to huddle with Brandon Baeza, he has to do it in between plays because he never leaves the game. He's out right now. As he came off and it looked like maybe an arm injury of some type. Second and goal at the Cruces 6-yard line. Is Baeza out of there. Knoll out of the gun, fields a perfect snap, drops the pass, flings it over the middle, and the pass broken up by Alex Hernandez in the end zone. It's incomplete. It was intended for Darius Ramirez, but Hernandez stripped it away. And it's third and goal at the Cruces 6 with 9:13 to play in the game. And Cruces is up 41-19.
Alex Hernandez played that crossing route just exactly exactly right. Had his hips in the right place, used his near hand to the ball to strip that pass away.
3rd and goal at the 6. Wiedemann in the backfield with Knoll. And the snap is a good one. Knoll fires into the end zone. It's overthrown and incomplete, intended for Duff. He was open. Hernandez was in coverage trying to catch up to him, but that pass just overthrown to the outside. And it's 4th and goal at around the 6 with 9:09 to play in the game. Cruces up 41-19. They want to get the ball back and start working that ground game and working on this clock.
21-17.
Manzano's taken the lead on Mayfield 21-17 in the 4th quarter in the Duke City. 4th and goal here for Artesia at the Cruces 6. Back to pass is Knoll. Bulldogs blitz. He gets away from Noel. Now he's going to roll right. Fires it back of the end zone. It's caught. Is he in? Yes, touchdown. We'll see if there's a flag. Making the catch was Donahue. An eligible man downfield against Artesia, so it's coming back. Well, good play by Knoll. They blitzed. He rolled right, bought time, bought more time, had all day, and found a receiver in the back of the end zone. But when you do that, it's an opportunity for the lineman to lead downfield. It did look like he was going to tuck it and run for a while.
I think his lineman, one or more, decided he was going to tuck it and run, so they went downfield to try to help him out. Then Knoll pulled up, threw a nice ball in there in the corner of the end zone, but it's coming back.
Brandon Baeza is back in there for Cruces. 4th and goal at the 10. Low snap, Knoll back to pass, fires it out. Incomplete at the 13-yard line. Marker flag. Penalty marker comes from the head linesman on a little pass into the flat behind the line of scrimmage. Holding against Las Cruces.
No. And that's, okay, I know I'm not supposed to talk about officials when they're wrong, but that one's wrong.
And why?
He wasn't holding him. I watched the thing the whole way. It was a screen pass, trying to get it set up because Cruces was blitzing a lot of people on the line of scrimmage, trying to sneak the back out in the flat. There was contact along the line of scrimmage, but he was not holding. The Cruces defender was not holding the Artesia receiver. But again, any time there is contact either on the line of scrimmage or downfield, the flag is going to come whether it's legitimate or not.
So it's 4th and goal from the 5 this time, as it's a 5-yard penalty, half the distance to the goal. Knoll ducks underneath center. Knoll calls timeout. We'll take a 30-second break. You're listening to Bulldog Football on AM 570 The Ticket. Cruces up 41-19. Back after this.
Island Girl Hawaiian Barbecue, Heather Chalopek, for providing tonight's post-game meal. We appreciate your support. And thank you for your attendance tonight and your support of Bulldog football, Bulldog athletics, Bulldog cheers, Bulldog pom, and our super Las Cruces High School Shoki marching band.
I'm loving it.
Well, we missed it. We were supposed to be in a 30-second commercial, but a minute fired off there. And Artesia on 4th and goal swings a pass out to Duff for a TD.
Well, it's the same pattern, the same matchup that got Artesia down inside the 10-yard line anyway. Alex Hernandez simply didn't pick up the swing pass on the line of scrimmage. And the Artesia Dogs are in the end zone.
They're going to go for 2 here. Knoll ducks underneath center, and the 2-point plays a handoff, and there's nothing there. The Bulldogs of Cruces all over it, and they're going to stop him for a loss. So 8:52 to play in the game. Las Cruces 41, Artesia 25. On the scoreboard, brought to you by Mesilla Valley Barbecue Company. We'll take a 1-minute break as the teams come upfield. You're listening to Bulldog Football on AM 570, The Ticket.
You're listening to high school football on Fox Sports AM 570.
We missed 2 TDs tonight back there.
By McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Unbelievable.
Out of all the good
That's
places
terrible.
to eat, there are just a few great places to dine. La Posta de Mesilla has been Mesilla Valley's favorite stop for Mexican foods and steaks since 1939. Housed in the centuries-old historic adobe building, La Posta offers award-winning margaritas and the Southwest's largest tequila selection. In addition to traditional Mexican dishes, try a few of the new plates, including beef fajita, shrimp cocktail, and shrimp ceviche. Perhaps the best-kept secrets are the succulent steaks and delicious green chili cheeseburgers. Open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner, located on the plaza in historic Old Mesilla.
You're listening to High School Football on Fox Sports AM 570, The Ticket, presented by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
8:52 to play in the game. Cruces 41, Artesia 25 on the Mesilla Valley Barbecue scoreboard. Artesia set to boot it away. So 4 TD grabs for Duff tonight. 10 yards, 79 yards, 45 yards, and 5 yards. And the boot away. Cruces was up for an onside kick, and Ivan Molina has it go over his head into the end zone for a touchback. So Cruces up 41-25 with 8:52 to play in the game. We'll get it back here. $8:52 to play in the game, 41-25 Cruces.
My advice to Jim Miller is don't take your foot off the gas.
Yeah, the way Artesia can move it. I mean, one pass play, 79 yards, and we've seen it tonight a couple times. Back to the ground, handoff signs coming left, stops, lets the defender go by, heads up the hash, 25 up to the 27-yard line. It's a gain of 7.
Again, and you could almost script it. Artesia is actually defending the play fairly well, but the Dogs are still picking up chunks of yardage, whether the single back keeps the ball, and certainly if Cameron Miller makes that play fake and takes off on his own.
8:22 to play. It's 41-25 Cruces. Second down, 2 to go. Out of the shotgun, Cameron Miller splits a receiver to each side. Miller hands off straight ahead, and first down for Signs as he pops it to the second level, and he's dropped at the 34-yard line. It's a gain of 6. He's up to 49 yards rushing. And now with the game seemingly in hand, Cameron Miller, who had 20 carries for 243 yards and 3 TDs, starting to feed it to his tailback Signs, the senior, a little bit more. He's had 13 carries. He's averaging 3.7 yards a carry. Is Signs tonight. We're down to 7:50 to play in the game, 41-25 Cruces. Receiver at each side. Out of the gun, Cameron Miller looks. Here comes a blitz from the secondary. Handoff to Signs, and the blitzer trips him up after about a 3-yard gain at the 38. Shooting in there was Carrasco on a little blitz from the corner.
And the blitz did get there, a short side corner blitz. A lot of people call that a Cobra blitz. It's still second down, 7. Cruces is staying in 2 tight ends with 2 wide receivers, just running real basic stuff, churning that clock, keeping the ball away from Artesia offense.
7:11 to play in the game, 41-25 Cruces, 7:08 and counting now as they're ready to go. Miller fields a head-high snap and flags fly as the play begins. Linesman on the Cruces sideline threw the flag for Cruces. Penalty number 9. I think it's a 5-yard penalty, as they never got going. A legal procedure against Cruces.
And that's a 5-yard penalty. Still.
And it's second and 12 for Las Cruces at the Las Cruces 33. 7:03 and counting to play. Cruces up 16 here and working on that clock. But this penalty is going to make it a little tougher. At second and 11, and Artesia needs a stop because they need 2 scores. 2 TDs and 2-point conversions for Artesia, and they could conceivably force overtime as Miller carries to the right side on the keeper and punches it to the 41. That's a gain of 8. He hadn't carried it in a while.
Tackle made by Jarris Ranger.
But he got a chunk here, and it brings up 3rd down and about 4 for Cruces at the Cruces 41-yard line. So Mayfield's losing up in Albuquerque. Can they come back and win that thing against Manzano?
Is Isaac Vance playing or not?
I think he's probably trying to play.
Probably. He tried last week and made some great plays, but it was clear he was not 100%.
Yeah. His first 2 weeks were astronomical performances for Mayfield. 3rd down and 4 for Cruces at their 41 and a timeout. Timeout on the field, 6:03 to play in the game. It's Cruces 41, Artesia 25. On the Mesilla Valley Barbecue scoreboard, a 30-second break. You're listening to Bulldog Football on AM 570, The Ticket.
Why is First Valley Realty considered the premier commercial real estate?
.603 to play in the game. Las Cruces 41, Artesia 25 on the Mesilla Valley Barbecue scoreboard. Mayfield has lost. Manzano 21, Mayfield 17 up in Albuquerque. 3rd down and 4 for Cruces at the Cruces 41-yard line. And the snap to Miller. He fakes a handoff, fires, and the pass is intercepted back at the 42-yard line. He missed the mark badly, and if it's caught and intercepted, that's a very good catch by Artesia. Are they going to call it? No, they're calling it incomplete. So it's been overruled. So it's 4th down, and Cruces lives to punt.
Cameron trying to fire one across the middle there in the direction of Dominic Fritz to pick up that 1st down, just threw the ball behind him and was fortunate that ball hit the turf and was not intercepted.
So Mayfield goes into next week's game against Oñate, which, by the way, is a Thursday night game. Don't ask me why. City rivalry game on Thursday night. But they play on a short week after losing to Manzano. Here is Signs kick, and the wind knocks it down as the winds change directions, as Doppler Mark indicated earlier. And the ball dies at the 31. And that's where Artesia will take over, down 2 TDs with 5:46 to play in the game.
The 31-yard line.
What does a loss to Manzano and Albuquerque tell you?
To be candid, Jeff, it tells you the Trojans aren't very good. You know, Manzano is not a good football team. Certainly playing at home is an advantage. We know that. But for a team like Mayfield, the caliber of Mayfield, to lose to Manzano up there, there's problems in Trojan land.
Understand Lombardi was out, and he's out for the year. He got hurt against El Dorado last week. 1st and 10 for Artesia at the Artesia 31-yard line. Knee-high snap, Null fires underneath, diving catch made at the 36-yard line. And that's a gain of 5 for Artesia, as making the catch Donahue.
I'm sure the Cruces Bulldogs will give up those 5-yard passes anytime they want to with 5 minutes to go in the game. Hey, complete that thing. You can have 5 yards. We'll just keep the clock running, and you don't have time.
Each team has 2 timeouts remaining as we hit the 5:15 mark with Artesia coming to the line of scrimmage. Artesia huddles, by the way, even though they run the run and shoot out of a 4 wide receiver set, they huddle. Null fires downfield and misfires. Ellis was providing coverage on Daniel Leon.
Brings up 3rd down.
And it's 3rd down and 3. Well, we were interested in seeing Artesia because Centennial and Cruces played last week, with Centennial winning 42-35. Cruces, by the way, came into this game healthier tonight than they were a week ago. That should be noted. And then Artesia's down the quarterback, which is the key guy in their offense, obviously, or any offense for that matter, but particularly one in which you're going to throw the ball 55 times. Back to pass is Null. He's hit as he throws it, and then nearly intercepted by Villegas, trying to scoop it off the ground upfield about 10 yards, and it's 4th down. But having said those main points of Cruces being banged up against Centennial last week, Artesia being banged up tonight, Cruces healthier tonight than they were last week. Centennial, Artesia, what have you been able to kind of compare personnel, minus of course Hotling, which is huge?
Well, Hotling would make a big difference, but my contention is that the Artesia defense is simply not big enough and not physical enough to slow down Centennial. I think the Centennial running game would go crazy against Artesia. They're too big for him, Jeff. Artesia will never handle them on the line of scrimmage.
4th and 3, the ball at the 38, up top. Pass incomplete, thrown behind the intended receiver, Darius Ramirez, and Artesia has turned it over on downs. Well, my question, too, is with Hotling in the game, which we haven't been able to see tonight, and Centennial, whose defense was shaky in the first half last week against Cruces. Cruces had 312 yards at halftime last week against Centennial. I think Artesia probably will move the ball in that matchup in theory as well.
Yeah, I believe they would. Clearly, the Achilles heel of Centennial is the secondary, which is not where they have their athletes. So Artesia would probably get some yards through the air, but I don't think that they would ever stop Centennial on the ground.
On 1st and 10, Miller hands off. Artesia pulls signs down for a huge loss as he barely had time to take the handoff. It's a loss of 5 on a straight handoff.
For a loss by number 33, Cooper Hall.
So I'll put the monkey on the Centennial back, Jeff. They will win the 5A championship. Okay.
Coin flip if those two do play. Ended up on opposite sides of the bracket. That would be the finals. If they're on the same side of the bracket, it would be the semifinals probably. Hand off to Baeza going right. Baeza turns it up the hash. He's got the 40, the 35 to the 34-yard line. It's a gain of 9. That game would be at wherever the coin would tell you the game will be. Whoever wins the coin toss will get to host. Because they've never played before, and it's an alternating deal.
Well, I believe it'll be a good football game. But, again, just looking at him, seeing Centennial several times, the Centennial front, their offensive line is so much bigger than the front, and quality athletes, bigger than the front of the Artesia defense. I think they do to the Artesia defense very much what Cruces has done and maybe even worse.
3rd down and 7 for Cruces. Miller fakes a handoff, and he's hit and dropped at the 36.
Cameron Miller.
Making the stop in the backfield is Hall. And it's 4th down for Cruces as Artesia committing everybody to the run. And it's working. They've stopped him for a loss on 2 downs on this series. We're down to 3:05 to play in the game. 41-25 Cruces on the Mesilla Valley Barbecue scoreboard. Stay tuned after the game. The Las Cruces Public Schools post-game show comes your way. We'll give you the final stats. We'll also name a Steve Barrett Real Estate Player of the Game. 2:48 and counting to play. 4th down and 8 for Las Cruces, and Cruces will take a timeout. So Cruces by 16 spends a timeout as the play clock was running out here. We'll pause for a 30-second break. You're listening to Bulldog Football on AM 570. The Ticket. Cruces up 16.
Out of all the good places to eat, there are just a few great places to dine. La Plaza de Mesilla has been Mesilla Valley.
No one is allowed on the field at the conclusion of the game unless you have a sideline pass.
AM 570, The Ticket, presented by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
2:42 to play in the game. 41-25 Las Cruces. And they're going to go for it. Why not? Kind of too close to punt, too far for a field goal. And you're up 16. So Miller out of the gun, empty backfield, drops to pass on 4th down and 8, steps up, fires long, going for the end zone. The pass incomplete, intended for Baeza. And so Artesia takes over at its own 36-yard line.
Yes, to punt the ball in that situation, you'd very likely roll it in the end zone. You really wouldn't get much field position advantage. Might as well take a shot down there deep.
I kind of like what El Dorado did. They'd get in the shotgun, and then El Dorado would commit you to playing defense, and then they quick kick it.
Right.
And there's nobody back there, and that guy was good at that.
He did it very, very well.
They pinned Mayfield back a couple of times last week. El Dorado's apparently pretty good.
They must be.
First down and 10 for Artesia at the Artesia 37-yard line. 4 wide receivers, and the snap low, and he handles it. Knoll back to pass, has some extra time, throws over the middle, incomplete. Haven't seen him complete a lot downfield tonight, Mark. Most of his completions have been at the line of scrimmage or near the line of scrimmage.
Well, a lot of these quarterbacks that are in these spread offenses, and there are different kinds of spreads. Artesia's is different than Centennial's, is different than some other ones that we have seen. They throw the ball outside pretty well, but oftentimes they don't throw it over the middle very well. The throws to the outside are long handoff throws. They're easy to make. They don't require a lot of arm strength.
Second down and 10. Artesia at its own 37-yard line. Knoll steps up, fires downfield, caught at the first down stick, and brought down by Baeza at the midfield stripe. Hernandez on the catch. That ends a string of 4 straight incompletions for Knoll. It's a pickup of 14, and it'll move the sticks. 359 yards passing for Artesia's Knoll tonight. 4 TDs, all of them to Ethan Duff, who's been quite a playmaker for Artesia tonight, but Cruces High pretty much been up the entire ballgame. Low snap, Knoll handles it, drops it off underneath, complete to Wiedemann. Wiedemann going left, runs out of bounds. No, they're going to say inbounds. Over at the 42-yard line of Cruces. It's funny how that's changed too. Used to, if you fell out of bounds, they stopped that clock. Now, if contact's made inbounds, even if you get run out of bounds, they keep running the clock.
What does it say also, Jeff, if Knoll throws for 400 yards and they lose?
I don't know. What does it say?
It says their defense isn't very good.
Yet you were impressed with the way they played it and the technique they employed and how they played the ball in the air on pass plays.
They do that. I think that indicates they're just physically outmanned. It's a 5A school against a 6A school, and typically that's what should happen. So they do play good, sound, fundamental defense. Again, I don't remember the last time I ever saw Artesia in a 3-4, 5-2, whatever you want to call it, an odd man front like that. And I can certainly see why they won 5 ball games.
They were 5-0 coming into this game. Wins over Hobbs, a win over Carlsbad. And they've got some tough games to come. They don't schedule light over there, do they?
No, they don't. Artesia play anybody, anytime.
Second down and 2, Artesia at the Cruces 42-yard line. Snap a little low, he handles it, fires it downfield, comeback route, caught at the 30, taken down at the 27-yard line. So it's a nice gain and a first down as Leon made the catch.
Comeback route similar to what we've seen Cameron Miller connect with Brandon Baeza so many times. Pretty well defended by Sam Millis, but yet we have a first down for the Artesia Bulldogs.
Well, the other thing it tells me if he throws for 400 yards, and he's at 382 right now, is they ran the ball 3 times the entire second half.
They have thrown it a lot.
I mean, it's every down. They've ran the ball 8 times tonight.
And thrown it 40-some.
We're to 51 right now.
Wow.
First and 10 at the Las Cruces 26-yard line, and a whistle stops the play. This is not 1980s high school football, is it? With these passing numbers.
No. And, you know, it's nationwide, too. A lot of this stuff, insofar as these spread offenses and quarterbacks throwing 50, 60 times a game, if it didn't originate in Texas, then it certainly has been elevated in the state of Texas. There's so much 7-on-7 passing camps and that kind of thing going on there. And it has certainly rippled out of Florida, Texas, California to the rest of the country.
And I would bet if you're spending that much time on offense, you're not spending as much time on defense.
You can be certain of that.
1st and 15 for Artesia at the Cruces 31. Pass dumped off, incomplete, overthrown on a pass over the middle to Ethan Duff, who's been their main playmaker tonight in terms of the big plays. 1:41 to play in the game. Artesia has it at the Cruces 31-yard line. Is it harder to defend this stuff?
If I was a defensive coordinator again, Jeff, I would drool, because every time the quarterback throws the ball is an opportunity for an incompletion, an interception, or a big hit on a receiver. It wouldn't bother me any to play it this way.
2nd and 15, pass thrown, incomplete. Trying to hit somebody downfield on the hash, and he overthrew it. Of course, if I give you Rio Grande's personnel, you'd be in trouble, huh?
It wouldn't matter if I had Rio Grande's personnel. You can play a spread, you can play a 2 tight ends, you can play anything you want to. It's a Rio Grande tough situation. You know, once every 20 years they come up with a team. We've seen 20 years ago them come into Cruces and play a wild card, so to speak, playoff game. A tough place to coach.
Oñate beat him 52-0 tonight. Mercy rolled him. Pass swung out right side to Aguilar. Aguilar trying to get out of bounds. He can't. And he's dropped for a couple-yard gain. And we're down to 1:26 and counting to play in the game as Cruces High is going to move their mark to 4-2, and they start district next week. 4th down and 12 at the 28-yard line. And going over the middle, pass dropped at the 12-yard line, incomplete. Double coverage on the intended receiver, Duff, and he just let him a little too much. He couldn't hold on. And so Cruces takes over at their own 28. Artesia's got 1 timeout left, but it's a 16-point game with 1:11 to play in the game. It looks like this one's over. If Artesia could have scored there, they would have had a chance to potentially try an onside kick if they converted for 2 and try to go for a miracle ending to force overtime. But Cruces High comes out in the take a knee, milk the clock, let's get out of here formation, and Cameron Miller does take a knee. With 1:08 and counting to play in the game, Cruces can run out the clock. Null ends up with 385 yards passing and 4 TDs. Cameron Miller winds up the game right now with 250 yards rushing on 22 carries and 3 TDs. Those were the offensive stars tonight, but some unsung heroes for Cruces. I saw Julian Molina throw a couple crushing blocks on that counter play that was working so well for Cruces tonight. Peyton Ball with a couple of nice runs. Signs battled hard, and on defense for Cruces, the secondary held up pretty well.
They did for the most part, particularly some of those younger players. Kept their poise. They didn't lose their mind. They're right there with Artesia receivers who are well practiced. They will make some plays.
Down to 13 seconds and counting to play. Cruces 41, Artesia 25 here at the Field of Dreams, and there's a knee, and that'll do it. So the Cruces Bulldogs improved to 4-2. Artesia falls to 5-1 tonight as Las Cruces wins by 16 over Artesia, and Las Cruces now on a run of having won 7 of the last 10 meetings between these two schools. So Cruces wins it by 16. The Las Cruces Public Schools postgame show comes your way next. You're listening to Bulldog Football on AM 570, The Ticket.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out to the Field of Dreams this evening. Best is to drive carefully and be safe tonight. Join us again next Thursday for Youngton and Mayfield, and then Friday for a rematch, Berlin and Centennial. Again, we thank you very much.
I'm here with head coach Jim Miller. Coach, how are you feeling after that big win against Artesia?
You know, anytime you beat a good football team like that, it's always a good win. You know, unfortunately, they didn't have their quarterback. He was hurt. They don't know the injury, the severity of the injury. We heard something like he wasn't going to play, and that's a big difference. You know, we lost Cam last year. We understand how important it is to have your quarterback in there. But, you know, our kids fought hard. We did what he had to do, and we pulled out the victory.
How are your boys looking health-wise for the rest of the season?
You don't worry about that. You know, I think, you know, we'll see after the game. I'll get the injury report. But, you know, football's a tough sport. You know, you get nicked and you get knocked. And, you know, we'll see on Monday or tomorrow on the injury report, and we'll go from there.
Is there anything else we can expect from the boys for the rest of the season?
Well, you can expect a great effort. You know, I mean, these first 6 games really don't mean anything. They're pre-district games. We start district against Deming next Friday, and those are the games that count. So our kids got to step it up. Coaches got to step it up, and the season begins now. You know, I mean, it doesn't matter what you did. Like I said, in these 6, it starts on Friday against Deming.
All right, thank you, Coach. Again, congratulations on the win.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in tonight on LCPS TV. I'm Alex Montoya from Centennial High School. Thank you for tuning in, and have a great weekend.